Hey, who with us? Who with me? We're on the runway. Come here. Short show today. Short show today. I'll explain why. Did I see snow? Now y'all know I'm gone. Let's go. Come here. I'm on the runway, yo. We about to get up out of here. One more time. This is going to be quick. Go. Y'all with me? Let's go. Come on. All right. Let's die that down. 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 What's good with everybody? Like and share, like my man AP just said. Give it to us one time. Hey, what's good with everybody? This is Wyatt, the 5 p.m. drive home conversation show, whatever we want to call it. It is Monday, the day after Easter. How's everybody doing? How was everyone's weekend? A few of you know how my weekend went. You were with me over the weekend. I didn't put a happy Easter or, have a great Easter post or tweet or anything out. So let me say, I hope you enjoyed your Easter. A few of my buddies that I know that I reached out to, not reached out to, but I know we talked. They don't really celebrate Easter. That's their thing. It all depends on your religion and your makeup and all of that. I get it. But I just want to say happy Easter to everybody if I missed you. All right. So I want to say what's up to some folks, man. I want to shout out the weekend. I want to shout out all my family who came out and support my wife, my daughter Trinity, of course, my Wyatt-Live family and my other family. Of course, we had Mama Deb was in the building. Mama Deb at the fights. Y'all know you had to, you had to check in. Mama Deb was at the front counter, y'all. If y'all didn't know, that was Mama Deb that was holding it down. Her and Pete Up, one of my mentors, Paul White. And without those folks, I wouldn't be, if I'm considered to be anybody today. They play a huge part in who I am today. And I want to just publicly say, everybody talk about give roses and give flowers while people are still around. I have to give my roses and the flowers to Paul and Deb White because I've always shouted them out on here on the platform. They're a big part, huge part of my life. They've always supported anything that I've ever done, and it just hasn't stopped. And they say that blood is family, but I have to disagree with that. I think family are those that do the most, look out and genuinely love you and will support you in doing whatever you're doing. That's family. I don't think family has to be blood. I think family could be love. If a person love you, they definitely can be your family. And I think Paul and Deb White truly love me because of, they've never asked me for anything in return for what they've given me. So I understand true support is when, and I said this like on Friday when I was in one of my little tears, when I was kind of in my, in my mode. I was like, man, some people don't even understand what true support is. They think that support, they're supposed to get something in return. That's not really support. So Paul and Deb, Mama Deb, P-Dub were at the door at the New Era Boxing Champs fights. And there were a few other people in the building, and I'll run their names down here. I'll run the names down here in a minute. We'll let a few more people get in. First of all, let me just say thank you for coming in today. This is going to be a short conversation. I don't have much to say. I just want to bring up a couple things, and then I'll move on. I promise you. I'll move on. I know I'm moving on up out of Cincinnati here in a minute. I know I'm moving up out of here. What is it? April the what? 18th? Yeah, April 18th. April 18th, something like that. And I seen some shit coming out of the sky today that looked like little sticky notes, white sticky notes. I have never in my life, now keep in mind, I don't do snow. I'm talking about from a child when I used to love snow, all the way up to the point where I really forbid it. Like I hated snow. I have never in my life seen a snowflake as big as the ones that was falling in Cincinnati today. Am I the only one? Did y'all see how big those snowflakes were? I mean, these snowflakes was like a little piece of, like, it looked like cotton falling from the sky. It really did. I mean, they were like this round and they were floating. It was so big, it looked like air got up under it and it kind of, umbrellaed up a little bit. Is it me? I'm the only one that's seen that shit? Oh man, I was on the phone. Y'all know I was booking up out of here. Booking up out of here. So y'all know, I'll be gone here in a minute. Y'all know that. So we might be airing from Florida here in the next day or two. I don't do it. No more surprises. They talking about the same thing gonna happen tonight. More snow? Are we kidding? Are they serious? Oh my God. I know it's not sticking and all of that stuff, and I know we won't be shoveling snow, but I just don't do snow at all. I've had enough of it in my lifetime. I'm finished with it. Finished with it. So before I get started in what I want to talk about, I just want to make sure that everybody's cool, tucked in, got your seatbelt on. We're gonna go for a little ride. We can go for a little ride today. I don't have much to talk about. I just thought I'd come in. I'm actually late. What I've learned is that my notifications are not pinging up on people as well. I'm trying to figure out what's up with that. I mean, I don't know if I need to redo it or if you guys need to go to the page and, go to my page and then hit the notification button whenever I go on live or something. I don't know, but a lot of people are coming to me like, hey, Wyatt, man, especially over the weekend when I seen them at the boxing show. And a couple people are now messaging me saying that I'm not getting notifications. I don't know if they rebooted the system or what's going on, but people are not getting the notifications. So I am going to have to look into that on my end. Yeah, I know, Denise. And here's some of my teammates. My teammates are on here now too. Denise, did you make it back to Atlanta yet? I doubt it. You got a flight at 7:00 tonight, right? Or this evening. So you should be at the airport right now. Denise says, I can't believe you're still in Cincinnati. I know. The first sign of, listen, them snowflakes were so big. Am I the only one that's seen that shit? Those snowflakes were amazingly, they were big. They looked like little bitty dollar pancakes. Don't act like you don't know. Dollar pancakes. Let me see who's all here just to see what's going on. There's Anthony. There's AP. What up, fam? There's Mama Deb. She comes in. Blessings to the Wyatt-Live family. What's good, Mama Deb? I was just talking about you. I know that I'm behind on the comments, so I'll try to catch up all I can. Short show today. I'm just gonna say what's up to some people, and then I'm gonna try to, I might shoot a little shade. Some people gonna think it's shade, but it's not. Trust me, it's not. Sometimes the truth is, a lot of people think the truth is shade and shit, but it's not. It really isn't. Let's see here. AP says like and share, family. Thank you, brother. Miss James. Miss James, you were on my mind on Friday. She says, hey to everyone. You were on my mind actually, to be honest with you, Thursday. I think it was Thursday or Friday of last week. I was kind of hoping you would come in on Friday. But I mentioned Pup. Okay. And, I know they have two of the shooters that were involved in Pup's, the shooting that happened with him over in Avondale at the Family Dollar. And, of course, I'm the only one. Not that I take pride in this at all, because I wish I never had to talk about this. But one of the things that I try to focus on Wyatt-Live is, what happens to the victims? What happens to the people who actually have to look at the people who killed their family members? We always talking about how the police deal with people, how the police do this. And like a kid got shot the other day. He was a suspect in a murder, and they had an open indictment warrant for his arrest. And if you look at some of the arrests that are happening right now on some of the murders that happened last summer, a lot of these guys are already locked up and they're accumulating bodies. They already have 2 or 3 bodies, and they finding out that they're the shooter, but they're already in jail on one other charge of a murder. Yeah. This is going on not in Michigan. This is not going on over in Tennessee. This is not happening in Kentucky. This is happening right here in your own backyard of Cincinnati, Ohio. And y'all talking about what's going on with a police officer and a shooting up there all the way up in Michigan. This is the shit that burns me up, because you would rather concentrate on what's going on in Michigan, and you're not even cleaning up your own backyard. Now, what does that tell you? What does that say to you? That's the sign of a chaos agent. That's Miss Louise sitting in the windowsill telling everybody business out there, but Miss Louise ain't handling her business in her own home. That's what that's telling me. I don't hear nothing. I seen 7 indictments, 4 murders on young men right here in our own city. One of them get chased down. He runs from Cincinnati over to Kentucky, and y'all trying to figure out why the police shot and killed a man that had a gun in his hand, who murdered someone. And I know what you're going to say. Attempted murder. He wasn't charged. He was just charged. That don't mean he did it. Well, usually if you don't do shit, you don't run. And when you don't run, when you do run away from a murder charge, and you got a fucking gun in your hand, chances are you probably did it. But I know chaos agents got to figure out from A to Z what turned the massacre person into the victim. They didn't have to shoot him. He only had a 38. They act like he was a war. The police officer's life wasn't in danger. It ain't like he pointed it at him. You running through other people's backyard with a loaded weapon, and you don't expect to get shot. But he had backup. Listen to the chaos agents trying to figure out why this young man got shot. Do I want to see this young man get shot? Absolutely not. But if you want a recipe of a disaster, if you want a recipe of a young man getting shot, that's it. That's the main ingredients. Have an open murder warrant and sprinkle in a little bit of I got a gun running through other people's backyard shit too. I know. Why you said you wasn't going to do this today? You wasn't getting into this. You talking boxing. Yeah, but I heard some shit. They didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do him like that. They didn't have to shoot him. Well, let me ask you something. How you think the family of the murdered victim feels right now? How you think Miss James feels that these young men are sitting in the jail downtown right now for the murder of her son, her grandson? What was he, Miss James? Little Pup was like 14 or 15 years old. I don't want to bring this back up to you. I really don't. But I'm happy that these people have been caught. I'm happy that we got people off the street that don't mind shooting live ammunition inside of a busy Family Dollar store. I'm happy that they're not here anymore. I'm happy that they're off the street. Did you see the story a week and a half ago about the young man whose mother turned him in to the police? He had an open warrant for murder. And she turned him in, saying, she took him to the police station and said, "We come in peace. Here's my son." Salute to that mother. Salute to that mother. That's called accountability. Oh, my son out here running around the streets and doing all this crazy shit. Oh, yeah, I want him to survive, but I want him to be held accountable for what he did, and I'm going to turn him in. Wow. Are we really seeing that? Are we seeing that these days? Or was the mother just basically trying to say, I want my son to survive this situation. I want him to live. But she turned him into the district. She turned him into the police station. Ms. James says, going through court procedures with Pup. I understand. Now, for y'all that don't know, Pup is her grandson. He was the young man, 14, 15 years old, that was murdered up at the Avondale, little mini strip up there at the Family Dollar. And they finally caught the little guys that were involved in the shooting, who recklessly shot live ammunition into a group of people at a Family Dollar. But you know what we focused in on? We focused in on a police officer who I have heard executed a young man who the same people saying that he got executed have not or will not or won't show you the entire video of how this thing worked out. How it got to the point where the police officer and this young man was tussling for a gun. I got a secret to tell you guys. If I got a gun and you're on top of me and you're literally on top of me, that does not mean you have the upper hand. I heard the craziest shit on some of the shows on Friday. Why did the police reach in his back and pull a gun and shoot this man execution style? Who knows what execution? What's the execution style? Execution is something when you have full control of an individual and they're at your submission and you shoot and kill them anyway. That's an execution. So if I tell you, if we're not fighting, we're not doing anything, and I say, turn around, put your hands on the back of your head. You turn around and put your hands on the back of your head, and I just physically shoot you anyway. That's an execution. An execution is not when you're tussling and wrestling and fighting and shit. That's not an execution. How about the 22 minutes prior to the shooting? Anybody know about that portion of the video? Did anybody even pay attention to how it escalated to that point? No, because that's not what sell. The bullshit is what sell. Let me talk to these black folks and let me show y'all how these police officers doing our babies out here. I don't hear y'all talking about what our babies doing out here to our other babies out here. No, we're not having them conversations. Let me tell you what somebody said to me that was asinine stupid. Speaking of babies. This weekend on our fight card, I brought in amateurs to open up the show. Just to show you what the kids are doing when they're utilizing their time the right way. When they're utilizing their time the right way, they get in the gym, get physically fit, learn a technique, become disciplined, and don't use physical violence on the street with the skills that they acquire in the gym. That's not how it goes. So what I did is I brought in, of course, some fighters, the little guys that go to the Golden Gloves and all these tournaments, and they opened up the show. You know what somebody sent me a message on? Somebody said, I can't believe, Wyatt, you got them little babies in there fighting one another. Let me tell you a secret. The art of boxing is something that some of these other kids need to get in there and do. I'd rather see them in there boxing than in there shooting and banging on the streets. Now, let me tell you what boxers generally are not. They're not bullies. They're not bullies in the school. Now, if you go into a gym and learn how to box, there's two things that can happen for you that's positive. One is you won't be a bully, and the second one is you won't get bullied. Let me show you something that somebody sent me. Let me show you what somebody sent me. Read this one. Get your kids training in boxing. Not only will it prevent them from being bullied, it will also prevent them from being a bully. It's called discipline. You learn accountability. You get physically fit. You push yourself. Is boxing for everyone? No. But some of the kids that have been, fighting and all that in the neighborhoods, you put them in boxing and sometimes it settles them down. It brings them to reality that the hands are not meant to be abusive to other people. You can use this for a skill. Go to tournaments. Let's utilize this and let's win some tournaments. Let's win some trophies. Let's be a little bit more positive with what we got going on here. I get it. Don't nobody want to hear this shit. I get it. You wanted me to come on here and talk about the police officers executing us. I get it. I know what's sale, but I ain't for sale. I'm not one of them bartenders. You know what a bartender is to me? These irresponsible bartenders, these hosts that get on here and talk about black men getting shot and all this old shit and sell it to you, keep on feeding you alcohol, keep on pouring that juice to you, keep on selling you this nonsense. Yeah, they will serve you alcohol all night and then let you go outside and get in your car and drive off because it was all about making money for them. I'm not that guy. I'm not for sale. I don't need ratings, clicks. I don't need that position in no one's life. I'm not going to sit here and I am not going to promote some shit that's going to keep you on the edge. If so, it's going to be about how we can get some money. How can we get some money? But I'm not going to sit here and talk about shit like they executed a young man. I'm not going to talk about that. This is not the place. This is not the space. I'm not a bartender of chaos. So anyone that had an issue with kids boxing, you might want to check the records of what these kids end up doing, what their grades look like while they're in the gym, while they're practicing, how they're doing in school. They're winning tournaments. They're achieving things in life. They have, goals. They set goals. And one of the things that I've learned, and yeah, I'm on one. I'm on one right now. It's generally the people that's always talking. They the ones that's doing the least. They the ones doing the least. The ones always talking about how ain't nobody, it's tough out here, ain't nobody getting no money. The one thing they all have in common is they're not creating jobs for anyone either. Think about that. Think about that. If you're a job creator, if you're creating jobs out here, if you're creating taxpayers, think about how much, not power, I hate using the word power, but look at how much influence you have if you're creating jobs. And one of the things I can't stand is when people talk about what somebody not doing for us. What they not doing for us? Come on now. Denise says some gyms have tutors come in and help them kids if they need it. Yes, I know Real Deal did. They had the Fighting Chance program. Megan had tutors coming in there. Had St. X high school students coming in to tutor the kids. Do you ever hear about that? Nope. You never hear about that. One gym has a computer lab. Golden Gloves has computer labs and stuff like that downtown that they use. You never hear about that. You never hear about stuff like that. I know. The brutal news, the nasty stuff sells. Positive don't sell. Everybody want to hear something worse than the situation that they in. That's how they get engaged. I get it. It's just not the way I roll. The way I roll is let's figure out a way to create jobs. Creating jobs is something that we can do within each other. We don't need City Hall to do that shit. That's just conversation. That's just something to be talking about. I never thought in a million years that I would be the owner of a professional sports franchise. I never thought that in a million years. 1335 John Street. And who's stopping me? No one. I have a mixture of all races, men and women around me. Because I know the bartenders, the chaos agents want you to believe that somebody's holding us back. Well, I got the UN as a team. Men and women, black and white. And the only way we're going to make it in this thing called America is to incorporate those things. Now, deep down in my soul, I feel this is something that needs to be talked about. But a lot of you don't really want to hear it. I could say a whole lot about that. And I'm tired of this anyway. So if you want to cancel me, that's fine. That kind of suits me well. Because the people that respect me, they know what I'm about. I'm a creator. Not just of this. I'm a creator. I create jobs. I wrote checks over the weekend. What was you doing? And I know a lot of people on here create jobs. I know it. But the bartenders are serving themselves. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The chaos bartenders are saving themselves. They serving themselves. As long as the clicks and the I love yous and the likes and the hearts and all that shit come in and the views come up, that's how they get paid. So they got to keep you on edge. Me, totally independent. Don't give a shit about none of that. Don't give a shit about none of that. I ain't heard nothing about any of the arrests on all these murders in the city of Cincinnati. There's been 4 people arrested on 7 open warrants, indictments. And the only reason why we're not getting any conversation about that is because you would have to explain. You'd have to talk about it in detail. It's the only reason why you're not talking about it. Crime gonna happen. See, crime gonna happen anyway. You're right. But that's the excuse or the words you give us when we trying to match that up with the other shit you talk about. I know I'm a little lost for some. Some don't really know where I'm going. But some people know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Man, I was in a good mood. But Miss James came in. No offense to Miss James. Miss James came in and it reminded me of Friday. Thursday. I'm sorry, pardon me. It reminded me of Thursday. We got 14 and 15-year-olds out here murdering people in our own streets. The little guy who shot and killed somebody up at the Walnut Hills High School, who died in his mother's arms. Nobody talking about that shit. There was an arrest. The brother that shot up the damn train system in New York and Brooklyn, like a third home for me because I love Brooklyn. Talked about it on Wyatt-Live when we first started. Y'all know I love Brooklyn. Nobody talks about that. Why? We know why. No mystery to me. I'm gonna take a phone call to throw me a I'm sure somebody gonna cuss me out sooner or later. Let's just do what we do. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
What up, Wyatt? This your West Coast Connection, Drop Squad 52, also known as the Black Knot Democrat. What up?
What's good with you, brother? How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good. Wyatt, good to see you back. Got the show popping again. And I tuned in earlier, but I got a phone call, so
I
I
understand.
just tuned back in, and I heard you talking about the crime. And I'm telling you, Wyatt, I swear this shit that's going on right now politically across the country reminds me of 1992, Wyatt, because let me refresh your memory, because I know you old enough to remember this shit, okay?
Okay.
We had 8 years of Reagan from 1980 to 1988, okay? Then his vice president, George H.W. Bush, gets elected, and that gives America 12 years of GOP in the White House, but the Democrats were in charge of Congress, okay? So the Democrat Party is like, damn it, we in trouble. We losing black votes to these Republicans because they come in with an economic message to black folks. So here comes George Bush in 1988. He says, read my lips, no do taxes. Bam, he's one term. In comes the saxophone playing, Ray-Ban sunglasses wearing Bill Clinton on the Arsenio Hall. He gets back the black vote. He gets in. After 12 years of Republicans, here come the Democrats, and they back. What did they do, Wyatt? In his first 2 years, they tried to bring health care. They tried to do health care for everybody, and Americans didn't like it. And then guess what happened in the midterms, Wyatt? 1994, midterms coming up. The Democrats get Bill Clinton to sign the 1994 crime bill. The 1994 crime bill, Wyatt. And that was because the Democrats lost the midterm election. Newt Gingrich and the Republicans came in, took over Congress because the Democrats was out of control. And then in the summer of 96, right before the election, with Newt Gingrich running shit, the Democrats and the Republicans did a deal to reform welfare. You remember that shit, Wyatt?
I do.
They reformed welfare because the Democrats knew that they was in trouble. They had to do something so Bill Clinton could get elected, get that white vote back. So you fast forward right now. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. You fast forward right now. You just mentioned it. It's crime running freaking rampant across this country. The economy sucks. And the Democrats are about to lose control of Congress again. And I guarantee you, Wyatt, they are going to get Joe Biden, the Republicans in control. They're going to get Joe Biden to sign similar legislation, just like they did back in the 90s with Bill Clinton when he was getting his ding dong sucked in the White House. He was going through, and all this shit was happening. And he was bringing down the Democrat Party. So I'm telling you, Wyatt, that's my prediction, sir. It looks like it's happening all over again for the Democrats. And we all know the black vote is caught up right in the middle. So what y'all gonna do, black voters? Y'all gonna listen to Wyatt?
Well,
or y'all just go along to get along.
Let me ask you this, bro. Let me ask you this. And this is not me going against you. You know, we understand one another. We truly do. But I just got some questions that maybe you can answer and bring to the forum. I'd like to know, what does politics have to do with the crime in the country? Like, I mean, I'm just asking, what difference does it make? And I know it's about policies and crime policies. I get it. But what does that have to do with the crime that's going on in these cities? What's your take on that?
Because the Democrats have taken control of local issues. Because you know that most crimes are state offenses. Okay, they're handled by the state. But the Democrats came and tried to make these local issues federal, as far as when it comes to policing, and they're conflating different states' rules and regulations and try to make it say that all of America should be this one way when it comes to policing. And we all know what happened with the when COVID-19 hit. because of some of the policies that the Democrats put in place in like California, New York with the zero bail, the reform of the bail bond system. And then when COVID hit, they started letting people out of jail, criminals, offenders with long rap sheets. They started letting them back out into the streets in the midst of this national defund the police. That's just my opinion. That's why nothing's happening locally, because these DAs were funded by big money donors to win these local elections, to put in these district attorneys, like one out here in California, Gascon, who's going to probably be recalled. So that's my opinion. The Democrats have overtaken local politics and made it national when every city's different.
Right. Hey, Drop, let me say this to you. I'm not going to say I'm smarter than anybody, but people that understand this system clearly understand what's going on. People are going to say that you don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to say this right on the air, right on the show. That's 90% correct. That's probably mid 90 percentile correct. And let me tell you why I know this, because I'm looking at the judicial systems across this country. And it's about elected officials that are in these judicial systems, that are in these court systems. Most of the crime that's happening on the court in the streets right now is done by individuals that have no business on the street. They have pending charges. And the reason why they're out on the street is because of the policies that are now put in place. Anybody that wants to challenge me on that, not Drop, want to challenge me on that, I'll take a toll with you on it. You bring your legal expertise to the table and I'll bring mine. And I will tell you, from California, I said this a year ago. I said, watch what happens. It's moving this way. Watch what happened. It's moving this way. You don't have to listen to a California person. I have colleagues that have offices in California who have told me what's going on out there. This has nothing to do with you, Drop. I'm saying other people in my profession. I have had conversations with them and they said, hey, they're getting out of jail left and right here. The governor out here has signed off on policies allowing people out on their own recognizances, and they have gun charges. It's making no sense. You even have DA offices who are quitting. You have district attorneys who are quitting, saying this is not right. These people should be in jail. And then what happens is they clearly get replaced by somebody that wants to go by normal pro quo. You see what I'm saying? That will follow those ways. And what people don't understand is it always either starts on the West Coast or the East Coast, but eventually it travels and meets in the middle. And that's how it ends up everywhere. And if you look at the crime that's going on, you don't have to go to California. You don't have to go to New York. You don't have to go to these major cities. I'm asking my people right in Cincinnati, pay attention to what's going on in your own city. Pay attention to the people that are involved in these murders and these shootings, and you look at their record, and you look at, I don't mean what they did 3 years ago, 4 years ago that they already did time for. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pending charges. When you have pending charges, that's totally different. Everybody know I'm all about second chance, sometime even a third chance. But I'm not about second chances while I'm out on bond or while I'm out on a pending charge. I'm not about that. When you let people out of jail, there is only two things they're gonna end up doing. If it's violent stuff, generally what happens is they're chasing people down to get rid of witnesses, to get rid of people who are involved in the case. They're either paying them off or they're either trying to get rid of them. Now, I'm not advocating it. I'm telling you what's going on in these streets. And the chaos agents that will decline or who would disagree with me, I would have to say this to you. Whenever you can bring me some information, whenever you sit in a courtroom, such as I do, like I do, when you sit in a courtroom and you listen to a person that got booked last night and you listen to what he has pending, you listen to what he got pending right now, then I want to see if you still have that same energy about what's going on in these streets. You got a guy right here in Cincinnati, bro, who was running from the police with an open warrant indictment on a murder. And he's running around with a gun. And he leaves Cincinnati, crosses the bridge to go to Kentucky. And some chaos agents are saying, that ain't even their jurisdiction. Why are they over there shooting? If that's where you have to go to make this thing make sense, Come on now. Wait a minute. Hold on. DC, hold on. Daryl Carpenter says, come on, Wyatt. I thought you were smarter than that. It is because of overpopulated jails. So you think that they're letting people with gun charges out because of overpopulation, that they're not moving people that may have lower charges sitting there doing 6 months in jail. You know, those people are getting out early. Some people are get a 6-month sentence in municipal court. Okay, DC, Daryl Carpenter, they get 6 months and the jail get overcrowded. These folks may have done 2 months of their time. They're making room for the violent offenders. They're making room for them. They'll let that other person out on early release. They'll let them out and take the one with the gun charge. That's how it used to be. But listen, Here's the other thing. If they can build, now people ain't going to like when I say this. If they can build new and improved stadiums to seat more people, once a stadium is 20 years old, they build a new one with 20,000 or 40,000 more seats. With population growing, why are you constantly building jails that are too small? I know people say, don't build jails. Well, if we're not going to build jails, we need to focus more into what people are doing, right? We need to correct whatever problem they got going on. So why aren't we talking about the problem that they have? I know what people are saying. Well, it's an economic thing. No, it's an education thing. In my eyes, it's an education thing. The more you educate people, the more people will understand right from wrong. The more you educate people, the better jobs they get. That's just how it goes.
Hey, Wyatt. Hey, bro, like I said, man, you just got to keep putting the word out there, because I still have that philosophy. You reach one, you teach one, and then those who are taught can also teach. So all you got, again, is more voices like us out here now on social media, and have our own ways of getting our word out, instead of relying on a commentary page or somebody who has a talk show will take our phone call. So you keep doing what you're doing, Wyatt, because you put out good information. You don't be making stuff up. And again, America is exactly what the Democrat Party wants. They want chaos. They want dissension. They want crime. They want people pointing fingers at other people so they can step in and say, we can fix it by sending more money to this city, to that city. Then you got crooked politicians who ain't getting the money to the places where it's supposed to go, to where the Democrats or the politicians say it's going to help this cause.
Are you talking about?
It never gets.
Are you talking about the 4 or 5 politicians that are now under federal indictments across just on the East Coast? Those, you're looking at New York. You're looking at New York.
So you would have to seek these stories out. And because I called Cincinnati Talk Radio, that's how I met you. Just in the 4 years since I've been calling Cincinnati Talk Radio, or podcast, or whatever you want to call it, I know of 4 members of one city council that is either serving time, awaiting trial, or has served time and has gotten out. I wasn't surprised, because even though Cincinnati is in a red state, it's governed by all Democrats. And whenever you have Democrats making land development deals, that is where the bulk of your corruption comes from.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on, Drop. Drop.
Quid pro quo.
Hold on, Drop. Listen, bro, I can't let that one go by. I can't let the fact that you just put corruption on Democratic politicians, because I don't know if you know this, bro, but Republican politicians they're corrupt as well. And
no, I'm talking about in cities that are run by Democrats.
Well, here's the thing. The state of Ohio has this Larry Householder guy. He's a Republican, and he's in a $52 million situation right now of a corruption charge. Okay.
Right. But he's not a city council member like the Baltimore City Council, like Detroit City Council.
Oh, but they're all politicians,
I
though, right?
Go down the line, Wyatt.
Yeah, right. But I thought we were speaking on politicians in as a whole. I didn't know we were talking about just city
that should
council.
go unsaid that all politicians are corrupt.
Right. So that's why I
All
said,
politicians
I
can be
generally don't like blanket statements. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you just said
Right.
something that made it seem like, and I couldn't say, like, I didn't want to not look, I agree with what you're saying, but it's not just in one particular party, and you kind of put a blanket statement on the Democrats on that one. So I have to say,
I don't know any Republicans in Cincinnati that was convicted or that are awaiting trial for corruption. They are all Democrats.
Well, see, that's not true here in Cincinnati.
No, wait. I think Jeff Pastor.
Right.
Is Jeff Pastor a Republican?
Yes. Pastor was a Republican.
Okay, I'll take that back.
So
there was one.
Yeah, I mean, and he did it the same way that all of them do it. See, if it was a different recipe, if it was a different formula, then I could probably say, well, maybe this one just did something wrong. But it's the same pattern. They do it all the same way. Everybody on Wyatt-Live knows, if you listen here long enough, they know I'm not into politics. They know I don't like politicians. I think politicians are crooks. I think politicians are self-serving. And when the more they talk about what they're doing for people, I think the more I dislike them, to be honest with you. That's just me personally. That's just me personally.
But see, that's what you do, Wyatt. Like you said, me and some other people that are strictly politics, because you said it the other day. You said that sometimes we get caught up in the game, right? And we be coming with a certain slant to things we talk about. And you will stop me and make a correction or get a distinction or put it in context, which is a good thing. It's a beautiful thing, and I love it. And like I said, Wyatt, you keep doing what you're doing, but I'm telling you right now, Wyatt, if the Democrats lose over 50 seats, oh, bro, it's going to the whole political climate is going to change leading into the 2024 presidential election. And I'm starting to hear rumbles of someone in the Democrat Party to challenge Joe Biden in 2024 if he does decide to run. So
I hope they do challenge just for the sake of the Democratic Party, because they need someone. I mean, I say the same thing about Trump. I say he's a bad brand ambassador. You know, I've said that on here, but I really think that they should get somebody younger and more engaged with the people than Biden. I mean, that's just me. I just don't think Biden delivers well. I think he has intentions. He has good intentions to serve his party, but I just think that the United States of America, if you're a Democrat, I just think you probably want someone else a little bit younger to represent you and be a little bit more vibrant, so people can understand exactly where you're going. I'm telling
you why. Again, politically, you look at the 1992 midterms. You look at the 2010 midterms, and then you look at the 2018 midterms. And then, of course, you look at this one coming up. In all four of those cases, the American people were not feeling the policies of the party that was in power. So we just don't have to wait and see how bad it's going to be.
Well,
because the Democrats are going to definitely not have power in the House anymore.
Well, I know that I just know we're suffering as a country right now. We're suffering economically. What a lot of people don't understand hasn't hit them yet, but this thing called inflation, it hasn't even began. It's just creeping in the front door, and it's going to tear a hole in people's. It's going to ruin us. And I'm talking about the people that.
Before I forget this, then I'm gonna hang up. Take your answer.
Okay.
When I was listening earlier today, when you first came on, my friend called me. This dude taught economics in some university, right? He taught it. He asked me about inflation. And he started going into the whole, I'm like, dude, the average person, when you say inflation, they thinking about the gas they put in their car, how much food costs, going to the restaurant and things like that. So my question to you, Wyatt, how bad do you think it's going to be in the coming summer months if it's already bad like this now? And we're just past Easter. So thanks for taking my call. I'll take that answer off the air.
Okay.
And you have a good show, my brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you calling, Drop. Really do.
All right.
Thank you, man. Have a good evening. Court Bird, my little brother called also. The line is free, Court. Let me give you that number. Area code 513-310-04. I'm sorry, 0546. 513-310-0546. He asked me what the number was to the show. Feel free to call anytime, little bro. Let's see here. He asked me a question about how tough do I think inflation will be. Now, this is my thing. Okay. I'm not a street talking dude. I hate talking about the law and I hate talking about shootings and killings. But what I do love talking about, I love talking about numbers. Okay. I'm going to take this phone call, and after that, I'll talk numbers a little bit. Okay. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
This is Mr. OTB.
Hey, what's up, little bro? Court Bird, what's good, bro? Let me write you down.
What's up, bro? I gotta give you your flyers, man.
Appreciate you, brother. What's happening with you? Tell us something. Wait a minute, hold on. OTB Boxing podcast is in the building with us right now, bro. I gotta plug you. You know I gotta plug what you doing, little bro.
I appreciate that.
He was at the show with us this weekend.
Just to come holler at you.
Good, man. He was at the show this weekend, man. I enjoyed having you there. Let me put up a picture. I'm glad you're here, bro. I took a picture and I was going to show everybody you at work anyway. Let me see if I have it here. Somewhere in here. Yeah, there it is.
I'm about to give you your flyers, man.
There he is. That's you and I right there.
A year ago, big bro, I was at home behind my phone on your show every day, chopping it up.
Okay.
And you intrigued me, man, and you really did. You instrumental in what I'm doing, bro. Just this week, I done had PBC approve my videos, and we up to like 6.1 thousand views on my Errol Spence video. So,
right.
Bro, and not only that, to bring me and make me a part of Team New Era and allow me to do my first broadcast, bro. I'm really living the dream right now.
Good, brother.
And you instrumental to it, man. So I got to give you your flowers. I got to say thank you. I got to tell you how important it was to see another black man articulate himself and really do a lot of positive things.
Thank you, brother.
That was real important to me within me starting this process. So
well, I appreciate you.
You.
No, I appreciate you more. What do I always say? The only thanks that I need, or I do want some residuals when the money start coming in. You can throw me a couple dollars, but listen, it's all about, what do I always say, little bro? I always say, listen, man, it's all about what we can do for the next man. So what your responsibility is to do what at this point?
Each one teach one.
There you go, little bro.
You already know. You know the end of playing the OTB boxing class.
There you go. There you go. It's all your work, though. You just sometimes we just need to be told, and someone needs to say it to you, and it's like, hey, you can do it. You can do your dreams.
Yeah, just hearing that from you, bro, that was important, man.
Good.
I couldn't do nothing without you, so I appreciate you.
You can do everything without me. You can do it all. You can do it. Yes, you can, bro.
It ain't nothing
there
like
you go.
Somebody lighting the fire, big bro. You just need. I might have had the sticks, but you had to show me how to rub them together.
And that's my job as a grown-ass black man to another young black man. My job is to encourage and to let you believe and let you know who you can be and what you can do. And you know what? You're growing faster than I am. And that's what I love. You have more views, you have more subscribers, you have more views than I do. And I ain't tripping. I am not tripping. But this is what you can do. You have more passion for it. You break down what you do on your podcast. You do what you do, bro. That's exactly what it's supposed. Look, my podcast is not seen by PBC and all them guys. But you work in the channels, little bro, and that's what you need to do. And sometimes we need is somebody. I'd rather be pushing positive enforcement into someone than negative shit. I could be sitting here telling you, oh, no, you can't do that shit. You can't do that shit, man. They ain't gonna let you do that. You can't do that shit. You hear that enough every day. What happens? You can't do it. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. So what you got going? You got over 6,000 views on one video right now. It's working on 7,000 from the Errol Spence fight. Congratulations. PBC reaching out to you. Oh, man, come on. You doing big things. Big things.
Nah, man. We gonna do them together. Ain't no us, ain't no you without us.
No.
Ain't no us without you.
Listen, bro. I'm creating.
I gotta give you your flyers, big bro, because you helped inspire me to even believe it was possible, man.
Thank you. All right, but we creating jobs. That's what we do. I created jobs for you guys, and now it's your turn to blow up and get big enough to create jobs. You create taxpayers.
We're gonna bring it right back to the youth. So we got a boxing bag in every city port.
There you go. There you go. Listen, create taxpayers. When you create taxpayers, watch how your life move different. You become more valuable to all the people that you think are against you. Watch what happens. I'm trying to tell my people. That when you create jobs and you create taxpayers out here, watch how things go different for you. Watch.
Got you, big bro. I definitely appreciate that, man. I appreciate everything. I'm gonna continue to grow with you.
Now I'm always tune in to your podcast, man. You have good information. I love the way you break down the fights. I love how you did. I see you did an interview with Duke Reagan, silver medalist. I see you did an interview with our main event fighter, Bubakar Silla. Did you do any other
That's gonna be dropping soon. I just gotta edit it out.
Okay, did you do any other videos or anything?
I got the kid from Boston. I got Brandon Molina's. I'm gonna get his out.
Good.
David Rodriguez. He was there when they was doing the calls and stuff.
So okay.
I couldn't really get. There was a lot of yelling, and the referee was doing this thing. I ain't want to stop, but next time I'll be early. That way we can really sit down and we can pick their brains.
Okay.
And I appreciate the opportunity, big bro. That was big.
No problem, brother. Listen, anytime I can put you in the line of fire, technically, just saying that in a way, whenever I can put you in a line of fire of success or somebody that can elevate you, let's do it. Anytime and every time we're going to do that.
Hey, I'm definitely on board, as I've been on board, and I appreciate you bringing me on your train, man.
Don't worry. You always on my team, brother, and I can't wait to get that out so people can see it. A week from today, I called the network today, and generally what happened, folks, is we do a pay-per-view, and on that pay-per-view, we charge for it, and then a week later, we usually show the fights, just like HBO, Showtime, and all the rest of them do it. We over here trying to build a network. We're trying to build something from scratch. I don't expect HBO or Showtime or any of those major networks to come on board and participate. But I've never been that guy. I never try to get in a position with someone that don't want me. I just create my own. And that's what I've been trying to tell everybody on here to do. Let's create our own. Make your own space. Stay in your own lane. Sometimes it's going to be the slow lane. Sometimes it's going to be the middle lane. But eventually you'll get in that fast lane and be moving as smooth as speed limit. That's all I'm saying. And that's where Court is going. Court used to reach out to me. I'm about to put you on a little blast, okay, Court? I'm going to put you out there a little bit. He used to reach out to me. He used to reach out to me and say, bro, this is what I want to do. And see, I'm not a real easy person to talk to when it comes to business. You're either about your business or you're not. I'm not going to babysit nor hold your hand when it comes to this business thing. I'm not going to do it. You're either going to step forward and do what you need to do or you're not. You get one shot. I'll explain it one time. And if you're not asking the proper questions after that, then you kind of on your own. But Court was very, let's just say he was very, I knew he was going to go after it because of the questions, the follow-up questions, the way that he presented what he was trying to do, the way he was assertive. I just knew you were going to do what you was going to do, bro. And see, here's the thing, man. You just getting started and you're having success in the beginning. So that lets me know if you continue this momentum that you're going to be up there with the big guys. What is that? Who is Blue Blood? You'll be up there with Blue Blood and them guys, man, sooner than you know. Just keep putting the work in. The grind never sleeps. If you stay up and you stay up on what you're doing, bro, you will be one of the greatest at what you do because you know your shit. You know that boxing shit. Okay.
Hey, and big bro, you told me, you say, man, you just like you just said, you got to do something different to make it your own lane. You gotta invest in your own lane. So
that's right.
Everybody talking. I just want to make a casual fan, a diehard boxing fan, so they know what's going on, bro.
Yes.
And I appreciate you even inspiring me to see the vision, bro.
Listen, man. Listen, bro. Your vision is what it is. It's just sometimes we need to hand our little brothers a flashlight so they can get the light started to where they need to be, man. So listen, keep moving forward, Court. Man, I am so proud of the fact that you're giving it the effort because we'll never, you're beyond now. You're going to fail. You can never fail if you try. You only fail when you never give it a shot. That's when you truly fail. So right now, bro, you winning. No matter how your thing turn out, whether you get 100,000 subscribers in the next 30 days or 40 days or whatever the situation may be, you can't fail at this point, little bro, because you've given it yourself. You've given it effort. You can't fail.
Hey, I appreciate that, big bro.
All right, man. So keep me up on it. I'm a subscriber, so I'll be watching and I'll be listening and I'll be, putting in some comments and I'll be doing all that type of stuff.
And be constructive.
Of course.
What you think of the broadcast?
I haven't seen it yet. Now, for y'all that don't know, I brought in Court Bird. Say your last name, bro.
Beard, bro.
Beard. I also keep saying Bird. Beard. I'm just gonna say little bro. I'm gonna say Court. I brought Court in as
you good
as a play-by-play analyst for our network. Okay, I formed a network. It's the New Era Boxing Champs, and it's fueled by Wyatt. But we have a streaming service. I've invested in a streaming company. Okay, and in this streaming company, I've utilized, of course, Court, a familiar name that you all may know, and that's Damon Lynch III. He was our ring announcer, and he's also a play-by-play person. He's part of the team now. These guys did an amazing job. They did an amazing job. I can't wait to see it. I worked that entire night. I was watching the fighters that I potentially want to sign, and I was just working that night. And, of course, walking around the room, I seen the one and only Angela Kinney was in the building as well. And I seen her. We chopped it for a hot second. And thank you, Angela, for coming out and supporting us. And, bringing these brothers together and watching them live their dream. Court wanted to do his podcast. That's one thing. But he's also been inspired to want to do the play-by-play. He's never, where else are you going to get an opportunity to do that, Court? You know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to live, that was one of his dreams, to be able to get on a TV, a network, and do a play-by-play. To me, this is what makes me feel good. What makes me feel good is watching people live their dreams and being in a situation where they could, challenge their dreams. Like, do I really want to do this? I know how it looks on TV. I know it looks fun, but to truly get an opportunity to do what you dream about, that right there means a lot. And it means a lot to me when I see him and his smile on the face. You guys had to be there. And I tell you what, a week from today, probably next weekend, I'm going to run that broadcast, and you'll get an opportunity to listen to Damon Lynch III and, of course, our little brother Court. And I think they did a great job. I was listening with one ear and watching other things, but I think they did a great job. I won't know until the broadcast truly, it comes out next week. I could probably watch it tonight. I think I'm going to watch it tonight, Court, and see. So I'm gonna put you on blast out here, bro.
One, man, but we're gonna only get better once the wheels got rolling and the fights got going, man. You'll see what I think you'll really be impressed.
I already am. See, because I heard, like I said, I sat right next to you guys. I was there. I could hear you. I was paying attention to some things, but I was listening to some other things. And you guys, I was listening to you. And I heard you. I heard quite a few of it, quite a bit of it. And I think it's going to be sweet. I think it's going to be good. Let's put it like this. In the note screens, see, I have I have all the notes, the comments that people leave from the night, the night of the fight. They all make comments on the live stream, and I could read the comments, and none of it was bad toward the commentating or any of that. It was all mostly the comments were about what a fighter should do. Everybody in the crowd know what somebody's supposed to be doing. Like swing.
Say what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. Everybody know. Everybody a coach in the stands. So, but I hadn't seen any criticisms of the commentating. Okay, so let me just say this on the air. Thank you. I want to thank you for coming out and giving it your all, little bro.
I want to thank you, man, and I look forward to any more opportunities we had together. But regardless of that outcome, man, I just appreciate the one you gave me, and I appreciate you inspiring me to do what I'm doing.
We're gonna be back at it, little bro. I'll be releasing a date here soon. Okay, in the next week or so, we'll have a date of our next situation, our next show. We're gonna keep it going, and of course, you're always part of this team.
Appreciate it, big bro, man. I'm gonna let you get back to your show.
All right, brother.
Let you get back to politics, man.
And
I salute you. Gotta give you your flowers.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, little bro.
You know what? I appreciate you, big bro.
All right, one. It's Court. let me just say this to you. If you invest in someone, I'm a capital adventurist, okay? So let me just say this. If I invest in someone, don't come to me with a plan of how we going to do a business and then I got to do the work. That's not what capital adventurers do. It's like going to the bank. If you go to Fifth Third Bank or private, what is it? PNC Bank, and you invest, or excuse me, you go in there and try to get a loan. You want them to invest in you, right? But you can't go in there to the banking manager and be like, you know what? I got this amount of money that I have this amount that I need. This is what I'm doing. Here's my business plan. And then on Tuesdays, I need you to come in there and I need you to work the cash register. He gonna look at you crazy, right? Like, I work for the bank. I can't loan you this money and work for you. All right. So don't come at me like that, anybody. Don't nobody come at me like that. Don't come at me and think I'm gonna invest in you and then I gotta work in your business at the same time. That don't make any sense. All right, that's not how you do it. People be like, hey man, I got this idea. Let's do this. Us? What do you mean us? Do it together? That's not what I do. I'm not trying to invest in a job. And one thing I can tell you that Court did is he pretty much told me what he was trying to do, and it was all about what he was trying to do, not bringing me in and be like, hey, and bro, and I need you to come in and I need you to do this. Now, a true investor will not only invest in you financially, but will give you the path, the road, the connection, the resources. He took opportunity and ran with it. Duke Reagan at the fight, bang, that's an interview. That'll keep me going. That'll get me ratings on my show. This is how he's thinking. Bubakar Silla, bang. Ohio runs boxing, bang. All these people, he did that. He put the work in. All we can do is lead you to the water. It's up to you to drink it. But if he would have been like, oh, invest in me, bro. And then I need you to do this for me and do that for me and do that's not how it is. I like people who just want to take the bull by the horn and go forward. They don't even need me. They might need a financial strength, but they don't need me. See what I'm saying? They don't need me to be there. I love it. That young brother, I'm telling you, I love it. I love independency. I love when people are doing their own thing. I told you a long time ago when we first started Wyatt-Live, I said, listen, when this COVID thing started, I said, everybody needs to find a way to make $25 extra a week. I don't give a shit if it's making a face mask for someone. Of course, we know Sabrina Calloway started a mask company. But I'm just saying, find a way to make extra income doing something that you love to do. Put your name on it. I've always said that. I mean, running a business is not for everyone. I get it. But everybody wants extra income. Everyone wants to figure out a way that they can make extra income. Let me just say this to you, and I ain't trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to be rude or somebody that trying to be all arrogant or anything. But that word boss, I hate that shit. Okay. I'll say boss talk. Okay. But I don't like people calling me boss. I'm a boss, all that shit. That's not me. I don't even walk around like that. I hate it. And let me just say the reason why I don't like the word boss. Because everybody don't know how to be a boss. Some people just want to be, they just want their own business so they can say I'm the boss. But you don't even know how to do boss shit. First of all, let me just say this to you. True bosses don't need to be introduced as bosses. Okay? If you're a boss, it's how you carry yourself and what you do and how you see other people to be, successful. That's what bosses do. A real boss will surround himself around people that can make himself better and make them better. That's how real bosses move. Real bosses want to see everybody around them eat. Not just off their plate. They want them to create their own plates. That's what real bosses do. So people that want to start their own business so they can be the boss, come on. Come on, man. And it's more to being the boss. And some people love walking around with their head like they the boss. Because it's more about the prestige than it is the actual progression. You always know them. Them the ones that make sure everybody know that person worked for me. That person worked for me. That person worked for me. I seen that shit. I had an incident. If you don't mind, I'd like to give you a 30-second incident that happened. Had a situation where a guy that I was working with who called himself a boss, he was out of Chicago. He came to Cincinnati. We had a fight card in Cincinnati. This was a year ago or something. They come in town. We had an incident at the hotel where I had a staff member who works for me, left hand, right hand man for me, Denise. Well, she was out doing something else, but she made the arrangements with the hotel. Well, this particular person out of Chicago want to go up to the counter with me and try to correct the problem as if he was me. But he want to be me right in front of me and be rude and obnoxious and nasty to these people that work at the hotel. And I looked at him like, whoa, slow down, bro. I got this. I've been doing this shit for years. I don't need you cussing people out for me. And I got it handled the right way. But I already knew this individual right here had no business being someone's boss, because you don't have to fight, yell, scrape, and be ignorant and nasty to people to correct issues. You don't need that. So we got the situation settled. But he wanted to make sure. That's Wyatt. The lady that you talking to who blah, 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 she worked for him. She worked for him. I don't need all that, bro. I don't need, we on the same, we all trying to get this shit done. We don't need bosses around here. We need people to get shit done. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Half of that ego shit right there, that's the reason why it's very difficult to succeed in business, because egos lead in business. When your ego lead, you're going to take some losses. And what I mean by that is, the more your ego leads you in business, the more people don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with you. Okay? All money ain't good money. And just because you're spending money with someone don't mean that they will deal with you. Now, I won't get disrespected. Okay, there's Court. He put his thing out there. Okay, good, great. Denise, there she is. Denise says that's how Wyatt Brand does things. She know I'm not I'm not difficult to deal with in business. I'm a very passive person in so many ways. And what I mean by that is, I will pass your ass right up if shit ain't going right. Yeah, I'm passive. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problems. I don't want any, we're not gonna argue. I don't argue with people. I ain't gonna fight you. We ain't about to do all that shit. I'm very passive. I'll call you one time. If it's an opportunity and we gonna work together, I'll call you. If we're going to do something, we're going to do something. But I'm not going to repeatedly call you and try to fit in and try to make this shit work. I don't babysit people in business. That's just not how I do things. Generally, when you have to babysit someone in business, you will pay a price for that. You will pay a price for that. It's going to cost you dearly. If you're an employer, if you have an employee, if someone works for you right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Or if you're thinking about doing something and hiring employees, don't start out babysitting them, because it's just like anything else. If you start babysitting them, it's never going to end. If you feed the cat, it'll never go away. It'll bring more cats. You ever fed a pigeon in your backyard? Y'all know I got a lake at the house here, right? I take the ends of the bread and I go out there and throw bread in the water and blah, blah, blah. And it seems like them damn fish can see my ass coming all the time now. It's like they can see me coming. Like, they up on the shore and they see me walking toward the water and they jump their asses right back in the water. Like, here he come, y'all. He got bread. Been waiting on his ass all week. And I go to the lake and I throw the bread in the water. I throw the bread in the water and the fish come out and they, eat and shit. But this is the thing. It's like they consistently know I'm coming to feed them. And I'm not going to be that for someone that's starting their own business. It's you can't, or someone that works for you. Don't hold their hand. Bad move. Bad move. Start out bad, it's going to end up bad. So yeah, I generally don't like people. I don't do business with people that are arrogant because, unless it's a one-time thing. Okay, here, thank you for the transaction, bang, 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 see you. But if this is a building relationship that we have to have, I'd rather not deal with people who are arrogant. It's not necessary. I've been around a few. And they look at me as like I'm soft. I promise you. I know some people right now that I've done business with that'll say I'm a soft ass. But what they don't understand is it's all about building bridges, keeping resources. Some people feel like I burn resources. Well, that might have been your resource. Your resource might be good for you. Your resource might not be that great for me. Your resource might benefit. If your resource works with me, they may benefit from me and you benefit off of their benefit from me. That don't mean I'm benefiting from either one of you. I just got into a situation with that, and I was very passive in the conversation. I said absolutely nothing. If that's how you feel I did you, fine. I'm sorry. But I ain't gonna sit here and explain myself. I'll take it like a man. I just won't fuck with them no more. I just don't do business with them no more. Oh, they feel like I did them wrong. Okay, maybe they didn't explain to you the whole situation. Maybe I never even asked for the motherfucker to come to me. Maybe I didn't ask for that help. Maybe you brought them to me and I didn't ask for that. So how can I do somebody wrong that I never asked for? I never asked for that. That's like me sending somebody to shovel your snow at your house. You got snow sitting in your house. Not from today, but I'm just using this for argument. I send them over to your house to shovel your snow, and you didn't ask for that. But then they do a great job. They kill themselves damn near trying to make your shit perfect. And then they turn to you and want $40. Wait a minute. Who sent you over here to do this? Why are you trying to get money from me? I didn't ask you to come do this. Well, you didn't stop me either. Maybe I thought somebody was going to. The same person that brought your ass over, sent you over here, should be the one you need to turn to now to be compensated. How about that? Try that on. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for that? Maybe so. But I'm okay. Listen, I don't burn people intentionally in business, so I'm okay when they mad at me. I'm okay when they don't want to do. Anybody that don't want to do business with me, I'm okay with that. From Steak and Shake all the way down to the shoveling the snow person, I'm okay. I know who I am. I know I pay my bills. I know anybody that I ask to do something gets compensated. I pay everybody before I pay myself. Anybody that was involved, Tiffany Daniels, any of my little sisters and my brothers and my teammates, on the Wyatt-Live team, on the Wyatt promotion team, on the New Era boxing team, I don't know anyone that may be disgruntled from the aspect of the business side of it. I know that people get on people's nerve. You ain't gonna never get a job. You could go do what you love to do every day. Somebody gonna get on your nerve there sometimes. But when it comes to the business, you better ask Denise. She handles the money. She handles what we do. Everybody gets paid, even people that half-ass their job. I just don't deal with them anymore. I ain't gonna argue. I ain't trying to cut nothing off. Well, you came late, you this, you that. I'm not gonna get into all of that. If I owe you this amount, you came an hour late, you came 45 minutes late, whatever. I'm still gonna give you what I owe you. I'll just never see you again. That's how I am. I ain't gonna sit back and penny pinch nobody. And I'm gonna tell you something. It might cost you more, but you'll not only have a peace of mind, but you'll learn. That practice right there keeps bad people away from you. When all your intentions is to do greatness and to do good by people, all the bad people will gravitate away from you. You'll see a snake coming in a minute. You will see a snake coming in a minute. And now let me tell you what happens when you're dealing with a snake. in business. A snake will beat you and then go off and tell everybody how you did them wrong. But here's the greatness about being on point and doing and handling your business the right way. While you out there and everybody he talking or she talking about how fucked up it is to do business with you, everybody else is like, whoa, that ain't the person I know. That ain't the person that I know. So what you talking about? Everything that they touch do good. Everybody get paid. Everybody this and this and that. They run this type of program. Why would he do that to you? And see, that leaves a person in a situation where they have to explain. Well, now, see, what I was saying was, now, see, I don't know what had went wrong. Maybe on this one, he just, maybe it was just we got this personal thing. I don't know. Well, see who looks stupid? Everybody else is like, nah, man, shit. Now, when it come to that, now, if he asked me to do something, we have an agreement on how much you're gonna get paid, and the money be on deck. It be right there. So that shit you talking about how he ain't pay you and this, I don't know what you're talking about. That's what comes from shooting people right. That's what comes from being passive. That's what comes with doing business the right way. Sometimes you will lose. Listen, I had a fighter one time come in. I'm just going to talk about a boxing situation. I had a fighter come in I think they were from Florida. He was fighting a kid from Chicago. This was a couple years ago. Alex brought this kid up from Florida to fight a kid from Chicago. The kid, they got on the scale and did everything the night before. The next day, that morning, one of the kids left. One of the grown-ass men called himself a professional. Him and his manager left. Well, guess who's responsible at that point? I am. But I could have told that kid, that man, the other grown man that stayed, I could have told that guy, listen, bro, look, your opponent, the guy you were fighting, he left. I don't have a fight for you. But this is a professional who took the time to train and get ready for a fight. He spent the money to get there. He has a team he has to pay for. He has responsibilities. He probably has a family. And as a businessman, I got to take all that in consideration. So Alex brings this man up. And I'm like, wait a minute. His opponent left, but I got to make this right. Your team came, and I got to make this right. So what happens? I end up paying the kid his purse. I paid him his money. So now when you bitching and complaining, because he has every right to bitch and complain, it won't have my name on it. He'll bitch and complain about the guy who he was supposed to fight. And then I seen the post by this guy, Alex, his manager, who put it out on Facebook Live. I didn't ask him to do this. He said, our opponent fell out today. No need in showing and watching us on stream and all that on blah, 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 blah. But shout out to Wyatt. We came all the way up here 14 hours to fight. And we're not going to fight. But shout out to the promoter. Shout out to Wyatt because he still paid us and he didn't have to do that. But see, Alex, you didn't have to make that post either. You didn't have to do that. But let me tell you how far that went. Not even knowing. I just wanted to make that situation right. What happens is now you get a reputation where people feel secure with doing business with you. It's like, hey, man, if shit go wrong, they going to take care of you. And that's how you keep a good name. That's how you keep a good name in business. So like my little brother Court, who's doing his thing, and anybody else who's out here listening, sometimes you're going to have to take that shortness in money. Sometimes you're going to have to, sorry about that. Sometimes you're going to have to short yourself. Your money, you're going to have to pay yourself last. Sometimes you're going to have to make sure you clean up aisle 6 and clean it up, and you have to be the bad guy. Sometimes you're just going to have to do that. Because in the long play, the long scheme of things, in business, it's all about having a clean name. It's all about being, having a name that people can rely on. And I'm going to say something that's probably not going to be a fan favorite from several different people. But I try to use minority businesses whenever I do anything. Sorry for those that may be disgusted about that. But I try to use minority businesses and give opportunity where opportunity is not sometimes. And sometimes I have to cancel those businesses because they're not ready yet. We all know. Sometimes you can bring somebody or a company in. I hired a company to do my to do my carpet at the crib. Little brother came in and looked like he had the gear and everything. Looked like he was about, shit. He looked like he was going to get down. Couldn't get out his own way. I had to bring another company in to clean up his mess. Well, I won't be calling them back. Listen. All I'm saying to you is this. We don't need anyone. We just need each other. Opportunity is within our own walls. I know people don't want to hear that shit. Opportunity is within our own walls. You can hold me accountable. You can hold me responsible. I want to call myself a prominent businessman. I want to say I started with nothing and ended up with something. I want to say that. So if I take that responsibility, if I want to put that on my shoulders, then I have the responsibility to share knowledge, to share opportunity. I bear that responsibility. But you'll never hear me talking about how fucked up it is out here. You'll never hear me talking about that unless I'm trying to make it better. And me just talking about how it's messed up and blah, 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 that ain't how you fix it. City Hall don't fix our problems. We fix our problems. Your mayor, your governor, your president, they ain't got shit to do with how we move within our own walls. They have nothing to do with that. We live in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, and the United States of America is for sale. And all of us have an opportunity to buy some of it. Every last one of us. And we all great at something. We just need to find what that one thing is. Create your own lane. Trust and believe I know how it is to be told you ain't gonna be shit. Trust and believe I've been told you can't own that. You can't do that. Fuck you talking about? I was a victim. I was a victim of it. For many, many years, I was told one time, and it came from someone very influential in my life, told me, don't let nobody know you own that company. Don't let people know you own that. You can't do commercials. People, you can't do that. Don't do that, because when they find out you own it, it's going to be tough on you. And you know what? I'm not going to say that they weren't right, but it wasn't the people that they were saying was going to make it tough on me. It was me. It was my own people. My own people is what I had to worry about, because this is what happened. I'm going to give you a quick one, whether you want to hear it or not, whether you think this is true or good to hear or not. I did it. I had a situation where I owned a particular location. I gave all the kids an opportunity to work in this location, in this store. Okay? And when I say store, it was like a clothing store for it was a spirit shop, high school team uniforms and things of that nature. I had a kid that worked for me in the particular city. This was not in the city of Cincinnati. This was in another city. It was in Ohio, though. And this particular kid stole from the store. Stole. Like, was selling hats and selling stuff to his friends and letting his friends have shit. And listen, am I mad at the kid? What is he, 15, 16 years old? Maybe 17? I'm not mad at somebody like that. That was me. That's the same shit I probably did when I was young. Giving shit away out of a store that I didn't own. Hooking somebody up. I did it. So I'm not mad. I truly understand what's going on here. But here, let me tell you what I had to go through in this case, being the owner, that nobody knew I was the owner of. I was just the GM, so to speak, as far as they knew. So I turn around, catch the kid, and instead of doing what some other, if he worked at Foot Locker, what they would have done, they would have called the police. So I didn't call the police. I brought to his attention what I seen, showed him on video what I see, blah, blah, blah. Let's make this right. This is the first time I caught him. I showed it to him, and it was probably about $115 or somewhere in that of merchandise. So I told him, this is what we're going to do. You're going to pay me that $115 back. I'm going to take it out of your paycheck. I'm going to take it out at 4 paychecks. It was somewhere in the realms of about $30, $35 per paycheck. These kids weren't making any more than 75, 80 bucks a week because they were going to school, coming to the store after school and working in the store. Working in the store. So I put him on a payment plan. He was cool with it until his father found out his money was like 50% of what it should be. I guess his daddy was counting his money when he got his paycheck. Now, let me tell you how we teaching our kids accountability out here. Teaching them accountability and not teaching them accountability. So the father comes up to the store after his first check was deducted, the 35 was taken out, and he wants to jump my ass. He wants to know why my son's check is $35 short. And I'm like, did he not explain to you what was going on? No, he didn't tell me. Now, I know he didn't. I know he didn't tell him. Here's the thing. I didn't call the police, nor did I call his parents to let them know that he stole from us. I was clearly trying to keep this kid out of trouble and I was holding him accountable for what he did. This is me being really nice to the kid. So I keep him out of trouble, but he tells that he says, I'm taking his money for nothing. That's what he told his dad. So his dad comes up to the store and he's really mad at me, thinking I'm trying to just use his son up. The same little dude that was stealing from me. So I explained to the father, I said, listen, man, I was 16 before, and this is what we ran into. He actually stole some stuff from the store, and he didn't deny it. I showed him what I had and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to explain this to the dad. The dad turned around and said, you should have called me and told me what he did. I said, you might be right about that. I can't dispute that. You're probably right. I probably should have called you and told you what was going on with your son stealing. But I've been 16 years old and I probably stole a few things in my life. And the last thing I wanted to do was have my mama find out that I was stealing some shit from my job. So I was a little bit on your son's side of keeping him out of the directions. I could have called the police. I didn't call the police and I didn't call you, but my apologies for not informing you of what your son did to me. My fault. But he's still mad at me for taking the money, just trying to make shit right. He goes to the school. He goes to the police station. He files a theft charge on me for taking his kid's money. He gets the city hall involved. And I'm like, all I had to do was call 911 and I could have racked this son up. All I had to do was call the police and this little kid would have got in trouble. I didn't want to do that. But this dude has defended his son to the point and ain't teaching him shit. He teaching him how to be he's somebody can fill the blanks in for me. I'm trying to be nice about this shit. This is the unaccountability that we teach our children sometimes. Here I am, I'm a black-owned business in this particular area. And soon as this man found out that I was the owner, he attacked me. He attacked me with media. He attacked me with letting people know in the community up there and turned me into the villain for your son stealing $115 from me. And I didn't even have to hire him in the first place. I brought the little guy in. And this is what we do. This is what we do. We protect people who do crazy shit. And I don't understand why we have this background, why we have this backing of people that just do shit wrong out here. Now, this kid, I don't know what else is going to happen with this kid later on in the future. But, you know, it got to a point where, let me just be honest with you. That one occasion, it got so bad that I had to shut that entire store down. because this dude, it was a small town. This dude then went around and told, see, now he knew people. He knew the city council people in this small town, and he made it very difficult for me. I had a school contract, and I lost the school contract to do uniforms for the school. And I'm like, oh man, these people looking at me crazy, like I just ran this kid across the coals or I did him wrong. And I'm like, okay, Mayberry, I'm out of here. I'll shut this motherfucker down before I turn into the damn villain. And that's what I did. I shut it down. And this is what we do sometimes to people that are really trying to help us. I was creating jobs. I was creating jobs for the youth. I was creating jobs for adults. I was subcontracting work out. So I was sending work to other companies to get things done. And it always take one motherfucker to come in here and hate on you because you're not mad at me because of what your son did to me, bro. That wasn't what it is. You seen another black man. You seen a brother doing some shit and you had a problem with it. What man has that much of an issue because your son stole some shit out of my store, out of my location, and you got to go tell city council, you got to go talk to all this shit about how bad I'm doing him? Really? This is how we hate. Not even on the, let's see, I got stories like this for days. I got stories. Y'all be thinking brothers be hating on each other out here in these streets. We got so much hate going on amongst industries that is unbelievable. I could share a few stories. I got a few other stories that can match this one. I've sat in boardrooms across another brother, and he had the more critical. We're going to see who's going to be the smartest black man in the boardroom amongst all these Caucasian people. We're going to see who's going to be the smartest. They're going to like me before they like you. Fuck that. You can have it. You can have it. You can have them. You can be there with them. I make my own courses anyway, bro. I don't play on other people's golf courses. I create my own courses. That way I can't bitch and complain about what they course is doing. If I'm going to be aggravated, if I'm going to be pissed off, if I'm going to be up all night, if I'm going to work extra hours, if I'm going to do something that I really don't want to do, I'm going to do it for me. I'm not going to bust my ass and work overtime for you. Any overtime I work has my name on it. And this is what I meant when I said, figure out a way to make $25 a week on your own. Figure out a way to make $10 off of something. You like knitting, you like making masks, start a mask company. Figure out a way. Million things out here we can do. 1,000,001 things. That's just how I feel about it all. So a lot of people, you have to understand the reason why I get hyped and I get a little angry about that conversation when people start talking about City Hall is not allocating money. I heard it on the radio today. I can't even listen to the radio very long. Trust me. Trust and believe I have a 5-minute attention span, which is probably maybe a quarter of a time between a commercial. A 5-minute attention span. I heard a brother on the radio today talking about money being allocated. So my question to this individual, he had a great point. I understand what he's saying. This particular city council is getting this amount of money and they're distributing this money and they're distributing this money this kind of way and it's not going into the black community. The business owners are not getting it and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let's just be fair. I agree with what you're saying. Money is coming. But are we in the line of fire of this money? How can you bitch and complain about construction if we don't have the construction companies bidding on these things? Listen, we have black-owned construction companies. We have Lim Jenkins. You have black-owned construction companies. You have black-owned concrete companies. You have all of that. They're not, some of them aren't bidding on these big jobs. They don't want them. Some will take them. Some aren't bidding on them. I keep trying to tell y'all, bring somebody to me who can take on a $1.5 million renovation. A minority company. Specifically, a black-owned minority company. Because I know several minority companies that have come in here from New York. I've showed you a few of those pictures of those, like what's that building down there? What is that? The Macy's building that they redoing? You know, we didn't been there. That's Chris Bratz and Brady Shireen. That's these characters who are the minorities who get in that contract to do that $200 million project. Those are your minorities right there. There it is. Chris Bratz. Look like a minority to me. Victrix LLC. Yeah, look like a minority to me. These are the guys that are getting your so-called minority contracts to do construction. But I have to ask you. I have to ask this question. Are we really in the line of fire of those contracts? If city council today turned over and said, hey, we got a $2 million deal. We have a $2 million contract down on the banks for a minority-owned company in the city of Cincinnati. How many of us are in the line of fire to be able to take a $2 million contract? When they put that new indoor building downtown up for the Bengals, the indoor practice facility, if the Bengals turn around and say, I want to give a third of it to a minority company, which means they're going to spend $5 to $7 million building that building. If they wanted to give $1.7 million of that to a black-owned developer, who would we call? Who do you have in the line of fire that can take on a $1.7 million contract right now? Do we even have it? I'm not saying we don't. Do we even have it, or do they have to go to Arizona? Do they have to go to Cleveland to get it? So when we bitch and complain about what we're not getting, make sure we're in the line of fire of getting it. It's like if you're not ready for something, if you don't have it, if you can't facilitate it, it's not for you, right? So what you think they're going to do? Give you a $1.7 million project with the Cincinnati Bengals and just cut somebody a check just to say we gave some minorities some money. That's what a lot of people probably would love to see happen. That's not ideal in business, okay? That's not ideal in business. That's not how this shit work. Let's take a call. Good evening, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
It's AP, Wyatt.
Hey, AP, what's good with you, brother? How you feeling today?
I'm doing fine, bro. How about yourself?
I'm holding on, man. What's on your mind, man?
Well, just talking about the constructive, if we have anybody in place for construction right now, but isn't part of the problem that they've, in some areas, they've held certain people back for so long and haven't given them a chance to build up to that level of approved construction or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, when we say that, when you say that we haven't put ourselves in a position to be able to take on contracts like that, well, the flip side is that they've also contributed to not letting us get in that position.
You're right, in a sense. Let me tell you what I did. Remember, I don't know if you were listening, AP, and I appreciate you, bro. You know I got nothing but love for you, bro, because you're a true supporter of what we do.
Same for you, bro. Same for you.
Let me tell you what happened, bro, and let's see if we can agree or agree to disagree on this. Remember when Damon Lynch was on here and he was talking because they have a construction company. They have I think they have a construction company of some sort. Okay, and he was like, we didn't even know about the Macy's building. And I said, even if you knew, could you do a $300 million deal? And he was like, no, we're not really set up for that. But we had a man-to-man conversation right here on the air. And I said, but that don't mean you can't build up to that one day, right? He was like, no, we can definitely do that. I said, well, how are we supposed to do that? By getting the small contracts like Avondale first. And then we got to expand ourselves like everybody expands here. They expand from Cleveland, from New York. They all work themselves in these positions here. I don't know if these contractors are submitting contracts to other cities. Like I told him, reach out to Indianapolis and try to get some of that work. You don't have to live there to compete for the work. You see what I'm saying? And what you're doing is you're building your portfolio up of jobs. Now you're getting in a position where you're making money. If you do a job in Indianapolis, you can contract that job out. You don't have, you can bid it as a minority contractor, and you can use a company in Indianapolis. You're getting the points on the job. In other words, your company is the head contractor, but you're subcontracting the work out. You're allowed to do that. You're building your portfolio up. And as you get these $200,000 and $300,000 jobs, you do 10 $200,000 jobs in a year, you have a $2 million track record. See what I'm saying? And
I agree with you.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And we're not really moving like that.
And I also feel too, some of these smaller companies, I don't see why they don't go or come together and, merge into one bigger company.
See, AP?
You got people who just they want to control it all.
It comes down to a couple different things, but yes, I agree with you.
So, but yeah, I totally agree with you. We got to start to build and put ourselves in positions to when this money starts, the coffers start filling up and they want to pass the money out, that we can be right there in line with everybody else.
Absolutely, brother. And look, I'm all about that. But look, can I give you an example of what I'm talking about? It's a small scale, but it's something that I was able to do. And maybe someone, if you hear this, they'll take it as advice or take it under their wing and maybe float on with it some other time. When I opened up I had a business where I still have this business. I'm just a minority owner in it. I started a business where we were doing apparel for gift shops. And my first big job was for Argosy Casino. It's not Argosy anymore. Okay. But my big contract was Argosy Casino. And I remember the job. I remember the numbers as if it was yesterday, because it was one of my in my mind, it was my biggest play ever, in business. And that was, I got a $5,000 invoice from them and I didn't have the money. This was 20 years ago, maybe? Argosy had just opened. Okay. So I didn't have the money to be able to do this $5,000 invoice. So what did I do? I figured out a way to get the $5,000 somewhere else. I borrowed. I worked extra hours. I did everything I needed to do to be able to get at least the startup money. But I did go borrow the money. All right. And what that did right there, brother, it opened up the doors, because once I fulfilled that $5,000 invoice, that money circled right back into that business. I just circled it right back in. And the next invoice was a $12,000 invoice. You see what I'm saying, brother? And it just kept going on and on and on. And that's how we have to do it. We have to build from small, and nobody's going to give us anything. Okay. But why that minority status is there for them to do a third or whatever the minority status is, we got to understand we're not the only ones going after that minority money. See, white ladies are considered a minority. Indians and Asians and all that, those businesses are considered minorities. So when people say minority contracts, they think it's just meant for black folks. It's a misconception of the whole principle of the whole minority contract deal. It doesn't exist for black people. Black people still have to compete for minority contracts. It doesn't say specifically black minority, women and men. It doesn't say that. It says minority. All right. And there's a lot of people in that category. And to be honest with you, that category has now even grown more, because there's several different people now falling in those minorities, such as trans and things to that nature. Not that I have a problem with it, but it's getting a little crowded in the minority section now.
Right. And I agree with that. But at the same time, again, I feel like, like you said, they're not going to give us anything.
Nope.
But we should be demanding something, because they do owe us. They do. There's no doubt about it. They owe us.
Here's what I say. You're right. They owe. But I look at it like this, bro. I look at it like this. I have gotten away from somebody owe me anything. It's like this. Somebody borrow some money from me, bro. If somebody borrow $20, $30 from me, if they borrow that little bitty money from me, man, I generally, if I see them a couple times and I got to keep on reminding somebody that they owe me some money, boy, I eventually walk away. You don't owe me shit no more. I ain't even tripping. If I got to ask you for the money you owe me, if I got to constantly ask for it, I'm not going through that. I just cut them off. I don't want to be bothered with them anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with that individual anymore. Okay, so
But that's a little different. Why? I mean,
I get it.
When you talk about people who were burned and hanged, families disrupted and split up that you'll never see again. Redlining to where again, you put me 400 years behind at the start of the race. That's a little different.
It is.
That's, when you talk about somebody who might owe you a couple $100 and they don't pay you back, and you're like, I'm done with you. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's different than the example that I sent. It's I was giving you an example of how when somebody owed me something, I just move on. But I'm just saying, like, I see what you're saying. But here's my problem with, and hey, look, if they want to give me some form of money for what our ancestors went through, because that one thing ain't gonna never happen. I don't even say the word. It's never gonna happen because we have been deluded. Our race has been diluted so far down. Who do you give it to? Do you give it to the dark-skinned brothers or you give it to the light-skinned brothers? We have been watered down as a people that how do you give the money? Who do you determine gets the money? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Well, and it might not, and I agree with that. I mean, but at the same time, like you said, we can't wait on anybody to pay their debt to us. We still have to keep moving forward.
So let me ask you this, AP.
And wait for the money to fall in your lap.
Let me ask you this, if you don't mind, AP. I'm glad you on here with us. I got a question for you. We use that R word all the time. I don't generally say it, but it's reparations, right? I don't really say the word because I know it's never going to happen. But let me just ask you this. How do you feel as an African-American male in this country right now who is looking for a reparation situation to happen for us, but yet they're sending $800 million over to Afghanistan and $1 billion over to Afghanistan and $800 million over to Ukraine and things of that nature? How do you feel about them supporting all these other foreign land countries, but not taking care of some of the bills they may have or situations they may have right here in America? How do you feel about that?
Well, I guess for a couple of things, as a veteran, I understand it does have to do with national security.
What?
As a human being, regardless of what I see going on over here, those are still other human beings that I have to have some empathy and sympathy for. So that's the way I'm looking at it.
I appreciate that.
We got some things to clean up in our own backyard, but we can't ignore our neighbor's backyard either. You know what I'm
saying? I understand that, and that's a respectable answer. But I feel a little bit different. I have to be honest. I feel a little bit different. I agree with you. I have compassion. Shit, I rocked a Ukraine shirt on here. I have a Ukraine friend that's over there fighting in the war that I went to high school with. I totally understand where you're coming from, but I also understand the importance of education. And I know that if our brothers and sisters if we had more education in our face and it was available for us at an easier rate. I hate using the word easy because it always sounds like I'm talking about giving somebody some shit. I'm talking about if it was more accessible to us. If it was a situation where we didn't have to pay for our education or something of that nature, I know the importance of education, so I feel like that $800 million could have went towards the kitty of paying for some of our school. I also feel like that $1 billion, if we have $1 billion to give to another country like Afghanistan, if we can leave that kind of money over there, then we should be able to leave that kind of money in our own country for good use.
Go ahead.
For good use. That's saving us. I think the same money that you're sending over to Afghanistan and Ukraine, that same war money, we got a war going on in our country between the divided of educated folks, understanding education, and the whole nine. That's a war that we have on our hands. Most of the people sitting in jail right now in the penitentiaries of the United States of America are illiterate. 65% of the people sitting in jail can't read or write. There's a reason for that. They're coming from usually poor families and don't value education. So until we put education first, which costs money, we're always going to have this group that just, that's going to suffer from this. And it's all about, it's the money. You got to be able to have, these folks have to be able to understand the value of education. And this ain't no black problem. It ain't just black people sitting in jail that can't read and write. This black, white, and couple other different kind of people. So
don't you see a little bit of being a two-sided coin? Because if you look at some of the, not putting all people down, but the parents of today and the kids of today are not like the parents and kids of old. You got people running around talking about, our people talking about we should be taught by our own people and this and that. My parents my parents told me to go to school and learn what 2 + 2 was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they didn't care who was teaching me. They told me to go to school and learn what 2 + 2 was.
Absolutely.
So, I get it, but at the same time, we bear some responsibility on of that too. We got kids wilding out in these classes, man. You see videos all the time of kids attacking the teachers and we didn't do that back in the day. It wasn't acceptable.
Right. Yeah, I agree, brother. I mean, I can't fight you on that. That if you ever listen to me, AP, I'm all about, accountability. I find it to be amazing that we talk bad about Cincinnati public schools, but a lot of productive people come out of Cincinnati public school. You understand? A lot of productive people, hardworking people that go to work every day. Successful people, whatever you want to call success.
Not just Walnut Hills either.
Absolutely not.
Tav, Woodward, Princeton, whatever.
That's right. That's right. So, but isn't it those people that came out of those schools you just mentioned? Isn't it them asserting themselves to be better? Isn't it them? Like they chose to put education, or they chose to go the right route. They chose to do that. You see what I'm saying? This is a mentality thing. You have a choice. We all have a choice. We all have a choice. Now, some of us don't understand our choices. We know they wrong, but we don't understand the severity of what's, we don't sometimes get it. These young guys, 15, 16 years old out here shooting and all that, those guys aren't in school. They're not in school because someone's not enforcing them to be there. That's why.
Yeah, I agree.
So do you look at the government for that? Or do you look at Cincinnati Public School for that? No, you look at the people who make sure, who birth them and who are not making them do what they're supposed to do. You know why they're not making them do? Here's the biggest excuse. Well, I got 4 kids and I can't keep my eye on. I got to be at work because who gonna feed these kids if I don't go to work? See, this is a responsibility. This is something we need to be talking about before you had them 4 kids and can't do all this shit that you need to be doing for them. It comes down to a personal responsibility, whether people want to admit to it or not. It's a personal responsibility of what we doing. We make the decision first. There's some kids sitting in some classroom right now that's not Mr. Cool, not the funny guy, not the guy, the class clown, not the one who's sitting back getting all the girls in school. That's going to be the guy that's going to be productive. That's the guy that's going to end up getting the A's and B's and understanding the true value of education. That's who that is.
Agreed.
And what we need to do is make that guy the cool guy. We need to make that guy the cool guy. We need to stop making all these cool dudes having babies at 15 and 16 years old in school with girls. That shit shouldn't be cool anymore.
Right. And another topic you had about the cats getting let out and things like that. One thing for me, if you want to look at somebody's past record and say, hey, you definitely a danger to society. We might need to hold you till you go to court. I get that. But I was in a situation at one point years ago, decades ago now, to where, never had a record, never been in the system, got caught up in a situation with some family, a family issue. And they gave me a bond that there was no way in heck at that time I had the money for.
Right. I understand.
And I wasn't guilty, and fortunately the system worked for me. But to be held in jail, I eventually got my lawyer to get the bond lowered to where I could make it.
Mm-hmm.
But to be sitting in jail until I was able to go to court, to me that would have been a big injustice. Everybody in jail ain't guilty.
Right, I agree.
So when we talk about changing these bail laws and things like that, we have to put it under a very fine microscope and scrutinize it to how we gonna treat each individual.
Right, and I agree. Let me just say this to you, bro. I don't know if you guys remember, but about a year ago, when we had a show about bond and bail and stuff, and it was Fanon Rucker, who's a former judge. He was on the show, and you know, I was really rooting for him to be the prosecutor. But one of the things that I had a problem with him was his new reform on bail. I told him that I thought it was a bad idea. I'm 90% with you, but this 10% I just can't rock with, bro, because you're trying to make it seem like people are sitting in jails with a high ass bond. And that's not the case all the time. You may be an exception to that, AP, but I'm in that system. I'm in that part of, you know, I'm in that part of the world. And there's not a lot of people that are not guilty sitting in jail with this big ass high bond. High bonds are based on the kind of crime, the allegations that's being, you know, that's being put forth in front of the court. It's not somebody that stole a Snicker bar or stole a gallon of gas at the gas station sitting in jail on a $25,000 bond. That's not what it is. You said you had a high bond. I don't want to get too personal or anything, bro. You said whatever situation you was in, AP, you had a high ass bond. I bet you one thing. I bet you it was a serious charge, wasn't it?
It was. I was looking at some years.
Okay, it was a serious charge, and you know, bond settings are based on your circumstances in life right now. You go to a pretrial hearing, you talk to pretrial services. Pretrial services puts you on a grading sheet. This is what a lot of people don't talk about because they don't know. The people that bitch and complain about this system, a lot of them don't even fucking know. They don't even know the system. They just think people sitting in there crazy and just hangling and dangling, and that's not the case. But there's a grading system, and that is 1 through 12 or 1 through 13 is a point system. They go by experience and job. Do you even have a job? How long you been at your address? Do you have family? What's your ties to the community? They grade you on all of this. This is pretrial services that is doing this. So the higher your score, closest you get to, I think, 13, the more likely you are to get no bond, or I shouldn't say no bond, but a OR bond on recognizances, or a very low bond, because you may have a high score, which means it's unlikely that you're going to run, okay, or you're not going to show back up. Now, I don't know what. Go ahead, AP.
The thing was, my situation, you know, here they're looking at a veteran for one. They're looking at a family man. They're looking at a guy who had a job, and they still gave me a high bond. And again, never had a record.
Yeah, but you know, AP, I can't explain without knowing the circumstances of the case. But I will say this: it ain't always fair. I'll say it as simple and as easy as I possibly can. It's not always going to be fair. But I will say this to you: high bonds are based on the circumstances, how much evidence, and you know, there's so much that you have to consider when setting these bonds. But what's happening now, AP, is a lot of the consideration is going out of the window. And let me just say this to you. There's this thing going on right now that's trying to make it seem like they're just locking poor people up and giving them high ass bonds because they don't care. And they're calling it damn, what is it? It's poverty. It's a poverty crime. Okay. So in other words, they're using this to try to pass this legislation across the country. And it's a poverty situation. They're using poverty as the tool to get bonding taken, you know, doing something different. Excuse me, that's my phone. And what they're doing is this. Let me explain it. If you got a booster, I said this some time ago on another show. If you have a booster that's selling diapers, boosters want to get their shit and they want to sell something to the public that they know is going to sell like hotcakes, right? They don't want something that people got to try on. And that girl, that's your color. That blue, that's your color. No, they want something that's going to sell as soon as they steal it. And some of the things that sell as soon as you steal it is Similac, Pampers, baby clothes, things of that nature. So what happens is they know when they get a hold of this shit, it's going to sell, because who wants to buy Pampers? If you can buy Pampers half off, you know, great. So this is what's going on. They're utilizing this in the courts, and these people are fighting, saying that people are stealing Pampers and Similac and all that because people can't afford them. In other words, these are poverty crimes. People are stealing that shit, AP, because it's the fastest thing that will sell when it hit the streets. It's mothers that can afford it are buying the shit half off on the streets. It's like when boosters go in to steal shit, they not trying to steal stuff so you can go shopping. They trying to steal stuff that they can get off on you like right now. And that stuff is falling under the category of poverty crime. And that's not right. That's not right, bro. It's not right that there's no mother going, I'm not saying none at all, but there's very few mothers going out stealing Pampers. That's not who's stealing the Pampers. It's the boosters that know I can get $25 a box for this. Instead of them paying $59.99, I could charge them $25, $30 for it. And people gonna buy it. And then when
I get that, but and to me right there, that part, those people aren't that serious to me. I mean, I'm more into, like you were talking about, the violent crime.
But they're not using your situation, AP. They're not using your situation to make those arguments. They're using the poverty crimes to make those situational calls, to make that point that people are sitting in jail locked up. They even went to Staten Island and said there was a guy that was on I think he was like on a $10,000 bond, and he ended up going to Staten Island and getting killed while he was in on bond. And, you know, he never even had a day in court because somebody killed him and treated him. You got to go all the way back that far. That's not what's happening every day. That's not what's happening every day. But let me ask you this. At that same time, the same ones that they're allowing to get out because of their policies, think about this. That same 18-year-old got out of jail in Westwood. I ain't got to go to LA. I ain't got to go nowhere. I'm going to say what I know right here in my own city. 18-year-old got out of jail on a gun charge up in Westwood. When he get out of jail with an OR bond for playing with guns, he get back out here, go back home to Westwood, go back and get a gun, get into a shootout with the same guys that got him in there in the first place. He ended up shooting another 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an 8-year-old, all in the midst of that gunplay. The 6-year-old gets out the hospital pretty good. The 8-year-old is not doing too well. That kid should have never been out on the streets. It's more of that situation happening, AP.
I don't know what his record was. I don't know if they took that into consideration or not. You know.
Listen, I don't think any 18-year-old qualifies for OR bond when you get a weapons charge. I think there has to be some form of a mother or a family member or somebody has to be responsible for this kid being out on the street. You can't get a gun charge and get out on OR bond. You don't even qualify for an OR bond at 18-year-old. Remember that scoring system I was telling you about? No 18-year-old is going to score 6 or higher points. You're not employed on your job long enough. I know you're not. You haven't been at your residency as an adult long. This is an adult charge, okay? We're not talking about 2020. We're talking about adult charges. So if you're 18, you just became 18. So you ain't had time to even establish an adult situation. So you can't score high on that. So there should have been, even if the bond was $1,000, remember, it's 10% of whatever announced by the judge. Okay, so if the bond was $1,000, his mother would have had to come down and bring $100 plus the court fee. She would have paid $185 for him to get out of jail, but she would have been responsible for what he's doing out there. So if that's the case, if she's responsible for what he's doing for signing her bond, don't you think a judge who let this same young man out on an OR, on his own recognizance, don't you think that judge should be responsible for what he do? You let him out on for free. You let him out just to be out there. You don't think that judge should be responsible for making that decision?
I agree with you. I mean, at 18, he can't even legally have a handgun in the first place.
So why is he even out there with a gun? And why isn't he being charged he's being charged accordingly. Okay, the police did their job. Prosecutors went in there and argued for a bond. The judge said, nope, nope, Mr. Whatever. I'm gonna let him go, and you make sure you report here. Now you dropping this kid off in the same neighborhood that he just came from. You're not sending him from Westwood, sending him to some type of house or something in Mason or Westchester. You sending him right back into the lion's den. And he was out there with the gunplay anyway, AP. You see what I'm saying, bro? So now he gets out there and has to get another gun to protect himself, get out there and get into across the street shootout, and 2 children get hit and 2 other kids, an 18 and a 19-year-old, get hit. We had to go through all of that for this young man to finally be in jail the right way. And here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. Look back at all these indictments that you see from the summer of last year. You ain't got to go nowhere. You ain't got to go to Texas. You ain't got to go to Michigan. You don't have to go to all these places, the chaos agents coming up with all these different situations of how we being treated. Stay in your own backyard. Look at these 7 young men I ain't talking about all together. These are all different situations. 7 indictments, 4 for murder, right here in the city of Cincinnati, and nobody's talking about that. Why nobody? You know why they not talking about it? Because I can guarantee you right now, I know 3 of them that should have been in jail. I know 3 of them that had crazy situations already pending, and they were out. And the reason why nobody will talk about this shit, because they would have to try to explain something they can't explain. The massive media will not talk about it. And then when Joe Dieters say something, I'm no fan. Listen, I don't care nothing. I don't have no look. Joe Dieters didn't cost me more money than listen. I can get into this shit, but I'm not, because it'll make it sound like I'm being all self-serving or I'm the shit trying to be the shit. I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. Anybody that know me know what I'm about to say is true. Joe Dieters has cost me more money personally, financially, in my business than I would love. I don't even want to tell people. So I'm not backing the man, but I'm telling you, they are on his back for saying shit that is true. And it's us. It's us that's doing that shit. I don't favor Joe Dieters. To be honest with you, I wanted Fanon Rucker to win. But I got to be honest and tell you, when he says things like people need to be accountable for what these kids are doing out here, he's right. He's absolutely right, AP. And when he go in there and say the shit that the chief of police won't say, and that is, we need to start holding these parents accountable. What's going on with the parents? What's going on? When you say shit like that, why do we get all up in the uproar? I don't get it. Why has it got to be black and white? Why has it got to be a man, he's white and he's saying something, and black folks getting offended by what Joe Dieters say? I keep saying, let that man, leave him alone. I don't know. Why?
I mean, some of the stuff Joe says, I agree with. I look at it that way, but I think the problem with Joe is that he usually says it against black people. White people do stuff, Joe don't say nothing for the most part.
Let me tell you what happens.
And I think that's where people, we even though we know what's going on in some parts of our community is wrong, we get that tunnel vision because it comes from Joe. And I think we all know Joe racist as hell.
Well, I personally, look, my 18 years being down in the court system, going on 19. I guess I haven't listened to the man like other people have listened to him. I personally see the word racist is something, it's a little different to me. I understand, and I'm not saying I understand it any different, but it take a certain person for me to call them racist, because I have to know what they did to actually position somebody, to take somebody out of position based on their color. So I can't honestly tell you that Joe Dieters is racist, because I don't know that to be the truth. But I will say this. I've seen situations where some white families or white situations have happened and he don't speak on it. But what I've noticed, and this is going to sound like I'm taking up for him, AP, but I'm not. I just want to just be fair about something. When something happens in Butler County, that's not for him to talk about. You understand what I'm saying? Because he has nothing to do with that. And if you look at Cincinnati is Hamilton County. Predominantly all the shootings that's going on in Hamilton County, which is the greater Cincinnati area, what is the nucleus of the makeup of the crimes that's happening with the violent shooting? Are those white people doing it, or is it black people doing it? I'm just asking you. Cincinnati.
Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have to speak on the majority of the crime being in the black community, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about all the crime. I'm talking about the crime that hits the television, from gun violence, Lil Pup being shot at the Family Dollar. That was us. That was us. Okay. From the victim to the one that victimized someone. That was us. So when Joe Dieters speaks on that, it looks like he's just talking about us, because that's the situation. But then when the white family out there in Butler County or in Claremont County do something, you don't hear anything from Joe. You don't hear it.
At the same time, some of it is his actions. You won't lock up a white woman that left her baby in the car and basically in the oven, but you'll lock up a sister who left her kids in the car because she was going to a job interview.
You absolutely right. And see, I had a problem with that, and I spoke on that. Bro. I spoke on that. And you know what? To me, to be honest with you, that was a dead ass wrong decision. Because look, you can't say because I made a mistake and my baby is dead that now that's enough punishment for me. No, you can say the same thing about that white lady that shot the brother by accident and say, well, you know, you killed this young man. The same accident you made on killing him, you know, you got to pay for that. That lady, that Caucasian, that white lady should have had to pay for leaving that child in the car. And she died, or the baby died. I think it was a little girl. She died. And if that's the case, no, just the death of your child is not enough. That was involuntary manslaughter. Basically, you made a mistake, but still you did it. There should be some jail time. Yes, I agree with that. But I'm going to tell you this also. The lady that left the kid in the car at Walmart, she was supposed to do some jail time. Yes, the baby didn't die. They both deserve jail time. That's how I felt about that personally. So, yes, it was a bad call on that one, but I just like to clear up something, because every time we talk, I don't remember that family name that was out in Claremont County where they went in and shot up 7 or 8 people and all that. People was on Joe Dieter's like, see, he don't talk about that shit. Well, that's not his area. Claremont County and Butler County are predominantly white folks, okay, white people. Yeah. And those are separate prosecutors out there. Those are separate, sheriff's divisions and all that out there. Joe Dieter's is going to talk about, it's going to look like it's being unfair because he has to talk about what's happening in his jurisdiction. And if his jurisdiction is Hamilton County and it's predominantly shootings in our neighborhood, he's going to look like he on our ass about it. What are we talking about? What are we talking about when it happens? Fuck what he's saying. Fuck what he talking about. What are we saying? What are we doing to try to prevent that? Why aren't we having more conversations with our little brothers from doing certain shit? Why are little brothers running around 4 deep in a stolen car shooting into family dollars? Why are we having that?
Yeah, well, we got a 16-year-old get ready to go to trial for being a hitman. I get it.
So we can't use one situation like, look, I'm telling you the shit was wrong a long time ago. But that don't make up for the shit that we doing. It really don't.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying, bro? Listen, I'm all about the shit being fair. But man, listen, I'm through trying to, the same way I don't want them, they help doing certain things because we can pave our own way, is the same way I feel we need to take responsibility of what's coming out from us. Come on, bro.
Definitely. It's
all about what we do. We got to mold our little brothers. It's all about positivity. We got to keep our people in a positive position, bro. If we don't do that, we fail in us first. And then when they get out there and now they're at the mercy of these cats, bro, we got to blame us. I know a lot of people don't want to do that because self-checking is just not that's not what we do. We don't do a lot of self-checking.
I can't dispute anything you just said, bro.
But I ain't got nothing but love for you, AP. I'm just saying, bro, look, we going to go down together. If you wrong, I'm going to be wrong with you. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm just being honest, man. I'm so tired of these chaos agent bartenders who put this rhetoric in our ears all day about how somebody messing over us. I'm tired of that, bro. I'm really tired of that. I think what we need to do is we need to come together, like you said, with the contracts. Why aren't these brothers getting together, collaborating no companies, and being able to go get a $1.2 million contract? That's on us to do that. That's us. We got to be in a position to be able to accept those contracts. If I own a concrete company and you own a wood frame company, why can't we union up and we get a third party in there and say, hey, you do windows and siding? This is what we're going to do. We're going to form a commission amongst ourselves. And we're going to start putting these bids in. And when we put these bids in, we know what each other can be bonded for. Okay, these are bonds to be able to do the construction sites.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, bro? I might be able to be bonded for $1 million. You bonded for $1 million, and our partners bonded for $1 million. We got a $3 million bond situation. So why can't we go in and get a $1.5 million contract when we can be bonded for $3 million amongst the three of us?
I agree. I say it all the time. We talk about it all the time, how we need to come together more and do this and do that. But you don't see too many moves being made.
Well, you know what? I hear a lot about it. I hear a lot about what's passing us by. I would love to be able to say, hey, I had a brother call me up the other day, and he was trying to get a $1 million bond Now, these are construction bonds, folks. These are not criminal bonds. I'm in a bonding business that does performance bonds. Okay. Not everything I deal with in life is criminal. Okay. I deal in construction bonds, and these are performance bonds. Okay. These are bonds that construction companies and other people use to be able to back their play. It's an insurance policy. Okay. Basically. So I would love to see more Black owned companies coming to get $1 million bonds for $250,000 project. I would love to see people coming to get a $500,000 bond for a $250,000 project. I would love to see it, but I don't see it that often. And it's not that we don't know. It's the fact that we just don't farm. We're not farming ourselves to be in the line of fire for those contracts. But yet we got people who are not even in the business who want to step up and argue for somebody, and they don't even understand the logistics of what's going on. And that's called a bartender. That's somebody, that's a chaos agent. That's somebody that's sitting here talking about some shit about why ain't the money coming our way? Well, because the money is going to somebody that's prepared to get the job done, prepared to take the contract. I would love to be that person to say, hey, they are doing us wrong. I got 10 guys, 10 brothers, 10 construction companies with $1 million bond right now that qualify to get those contracts. But I can't say that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, come on, bro. You know I want to be like, hey, I got 4 right now. We had Damon Lynch come on. They have a construction company. I hit him with a little bit of something, and he was like, I didn't know that. Yeah, this is what happens. I said, well, why don't you do this, bro? Why don't your construction company build its portfolio up? Why are you only looking for Cincinnati construction? Contracts. Go to Indianapolis, go to Cleveland. Look at the business that's coming into Cincinnati, and they're giving it to minority companies. These minority companies are not Cincinnati-based minority companies. These are companies coming from somewhere else. Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? These are Black-owned companies coming from somewhere else. And now they got the Macy's building about to get $200 million stored in it. And listen, I ain't trying to be funny, but I don't think we have, if you put all of us together, we can't do a $200 million construction job. I mean, I'm just being honest with you, bro. So I'm not even looking for that, but I am looking for the small Avondale and the Eastern Price Hills and stuff like that. We need to get those $100,000 jobs because they easily can be bonded. We can do those, and we're building a portfolio, a book of business. So when $1 million job comes up, we have enough under our our book of business to be able to qualify for it.
Right. You got a track record.
That's right. That's right. But instead, what I hear is totally different than what's really going on out here. But yet, it sound good. It sound controversy. Just like the dude on the radio today, AP, he said, man, all this money coming down, and we ain't getting none of it. Okay. Well, are we in line for it? Like, do we have somebody that can actually get that money and make something happen? And that sound ignorant. It sound like, well, Wyatt, of course we do. Well, maybe we do, maybe we don't. I'd like to see what's behind curtain number 2. Can the construction company out of curtain number 2 come forward, please?
But again, I have to go back to, I've heard stories of people, a counterpart of yours, if you want to look at it like that, on Lincoln Ware Show will call in and say they have a company, they've gone to the people downtown and putting in bids, and this and this and this has happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I hear that all the time too, AP. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know for sure. There's 2 sides to every story, but when it sounds like there's still a system in place, to keep people from partaking in any of that pot of money that's out there available, then we still have an issue.
I agree. Can I give you an example of what I heard on there that I had a question about? And I'll be honest, I think it's wrong. I think Alicia Reese brought up something that said that I think 3CDC or somebody down at the banks or somebody has a lifetime deal with the city. Okay.
Right.
I've heard of that before. That's totally wrong. But who's bitching and complaining about it? Is there, okay, she can, I can, you can, but are we in the line of fire of that business? We sitting back bitching and complaining about something that we have nothing to do with. If they don't have somebody, see, the better challenge is if you and I owned a construction company that could bid against that lifetime deal, then we have a leg to stand on. But me sitting
Right.
back from the third row, bitching and complaining, you know, it don't make any sense. They're not even trying to hear me because, okay, we're going to drop our lifetime deal for what? To give to you? Do you have a construction company? No. Well, shut the fuck up then. That's what's going to happen. But when we get
Right.
our shit together and say, hey, yeah, we got something. We got somebody that can replace that or at least can get, you know, could bid on it, and at least give it a challenge. When you can put that forth and put that at the table, then that's something we can ride on that, bro. We can ride on that. But if you don't have it, it's like, why am I gonna go bid on a janitorial job and I don't even have a vacuum cleaner or Windex? I don't have towels, I don't have sponges, I don't have shit. But I'm gonna go in and bid on a job. Guess what might happen, AP? I just might get it. And am I prepared for it? Nope. So what's gonna happen? I just got a contract that I'm not prepared for. Oh my God, what am I gonna do now?
You're right, Cole. I mean, technically for me, I don't have a dog in that fight because I'm not in construction. The only thing that I want to see is another black person succeed. You know, so like you said, me bitching about it ain't gonna do no good if that person who actually has a dog in the fight don't step up and make their presence be known.
Right. And AP, guess what? Those people you hear on the radio, man, listen, bro. Listen, it's entertainment. That's all I'm gonna tell you. This right here is not entertainment. I try not to be entertainment. I try to be 100 as real as possible. But half them cats that be hollering and all that old shit. Listen, man, I didn't heard motherfuckers say shit like Iris Rowley was getting paid off and all that. See, that's goofy shit to me. That's good. When you hear people say stuff like that, man, that'd be goofy shit to me. Okay, I don't want to hear that type of stuff, because when you start with some foolishness, when you start with some foolishness, it's stay foolish. It's never real. And I don't that's that bartender shit I'm telling you. There's people on the radio that constantly feed people drinks, and then when the show is over, they let their patrons go right out and get in their car with the keys and let them drive off all day with that shit in their mind that was false and misinformation. I got a problem with that shit. And here's the thing. I got a problem when you look like me and you do that to your own people for your own selfish come up. That's, I will say, I'm gonna say what I say. Fuck it. I'm gonna say what I say. I mean, you know what I'm saying, AP? I got a problem when you ain't got no problem when you know you're doing some crazy shit and you just doing it for your own selfish needs. I got a problem with that.
I agree.
You know, you don't care. Just give him the keys. He drunk on this shit. Give him the keys. We got all his money. We got his mind. We got all the clicks we need from that dumb shit he was talking about. We got all the clicks we need. You know what I'm saying? Now let him go on out there. Look, let me tell you something. Can I say one more thing to you, AP? Because you know I got love for you, bro.
You got the floor, bro.
What do you think happened to that brother who was in the damn Brooklyn subway? Don't you think he been listening to talk radio? Don't you think his mind is polluted and all that bullshit? Did you see what they found on his computer and all the shit that he talk about all day? These white motherfuckers, these white people, this white, all the shit you hear on those them shows locally. That's the shit that was on his Facebook and all that other shit. He was drunk. He was drunk. And what I mean by drunk is he was drunk by all the rhetoric that they talk about all day, and he was fed up, and he went in there and he shot up some shit because he's been drunk on all this bullshit these people been talking about. And
I agree. He's definitely on the. I put him on the same level as Dylan Roof and cats like that. I mean, they sit around, they ain't got nothing going for themselves in life, and they look for somebody to blame for it. And when you hear the stuff, like you said, on the radio, on the news constantly, you know, it just feeds into your idealism that, yeah, they're the reason that my life is all messed up.
Exactly. And granted, bro, AP, you could be the same way, bro. Listen, you went through some shit, and if you wasn't strong, you could be that man. I don't mean that in a disrespect. You went through a court system, your bond was high, your life was almost fucked up, right? Tell the truth.
Right.
Okay. You could be bitter. You could have animosity. You could be that same guy that said everything that's wrong in my life right now is because what they did to me. Okay. You could honestly be that guy, but you got to be stronger than that, right?
Yeah. Fortunately, you know, I wasn't raised like that. I saw my parents. I saw the people in my neighborhood, men and women, go to work and make a way for their life, no matter what was put. You know, a barrier was put before them. So that was what was ingrained in me. You know, I don't give up.
Right. There you go, bro. And listen, I got this one thing. You said it. I got buddies right now. I got a friend of mine. I won't say his name until he come on here and say, yeah, it's me, and I don't mind you saying it. I got a buddy. Did 3 stints in the joint. 3 numbers. Then came home and making more money than dudes that's been in the streets who ain't, some of them ain't never even been to jail. He then came home, got 3 professional license. He, in real estate and a couple other things. And he came out, he changed his life because he could. And nobody could stop him from being a better person. Nobody could stop him from being a citizen and being a productive citizen. And he, to this day, being a little older than I am, will tell you the choices that I made. Didn't nobody make me sell dope. Didn't nobody make me do the things I was doing. I made them choices. Now I'm making choices to be a better person. Nobody stopped me from doing the shit when I was selling drugs. I paid the consequences and went to jail. All right. That's what kept me off the streets. But at that same token, I'm not going to allow somebody to stop me from being productive and going to get me some licenses and being a productive person. And now I got my own home. This is not me. I'm talking about my friend. He has his own home paid off, owns his own car, has his own business, and is in real estate. And the joint didn't break him. And the way that we get treated didn't break him. And all the things that's all against us didn't break him. Didn't break him, bro. So all I'm saying is, if you surround yourself with people like that and positive people, look, there's only 2 things in this world that you can surround yourself with. You can agree with me or disagree with me on this one, AP. There's only 2 things you can surround yourself with. You can surround yourself with a positive circle, or you can surround yourself with a cage. That's it. The cage is going to be somebody that's going to hold you in and not let you prosper. They always going to be down your they're going to make you believe you ain't shit. But the circle is your choice of what you put in that circle and the positive energy that you circle yourself around. And I generally try to be around people that try to make me better. And the reason why I say make me better, it's not that they got my best interest at heart. It's just I don't ever want to be the smartest man in the room. So if I can find my way somewhere in the middle, I think I got a lot I can learn. I don't want to be the smartest man in the circle. I don't want to be if I run into a room, bro, and I sat down and we talking and we having a conference. If I'm the smartest man in the room, I'm in the wrong room. That's how I feel.
When you consider yourself the smartest man in the room, you turn out to be like a Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, abrasive, generally the alpha of the room feels that they can talk to people a certain way. And, those type of people I don't really want to associate myself with either. I need rational, reasonable thinking people who understand sacrifice.
Exactly. You need those people around you who can tell you when even if you might think you're the smartest man in the room, you need people around you who can tell you, hey, dude, you messing up.
Yep. That's called a circle.
Go that direction.
That's called a circle. You feel what I'm saying, bro? Your circle will never let you down. If it's usually, and that don't mean your circle got to be this big. It don't have to be that big. It can be, Roy Jones Jr. is a friend of mine, and you know what he told me? He said, Wyatt, my circle is as small as a Cheerio. I thought it was kind of corny when he said that, but as I've known him over the years, I understand exactly how small that freaking Cheerio really is. The Cheerio. I really get it now. Best advice he ever gave me. He know a lot about boxing, and when we talk now, it's very seldom about boxing. It's about life.
Right.
All right, AP, what else you got, bro? Anything?
Oh, that was good, bro. I enjoyed talking to you.
I enjoyed you. I enjoyed you, brother. I really do, man. Hey, and I appreciate your support, man. I really do. More than you can even imagine. Because it's smart guys like you, bro, that keep me going, keep me on my toes, and make, challenge. I love it. All
right, Wyatt.
Nothing but love, man. Peace and love to you, brother.
Back at you, bro.
All right, man. Thank you. It's AP, man. We almost up out of here. I just want to see if I had this message that was sent to me. Let me see if I still have it. I thought it was a message that they had a question. Somebody said, got a question for you. I don't know if I still have it. Let me see. Sorry. Sorry about that, bro. It must have fell out. I don't have that question still. My apologies. Let I'm just a firm believer that we surround ourselves around the energy that we end up, like pushing out. You surround yourself around people that are out for no good, you're gonna absorb all that, bro. I can't tell you something you don't already know. I just know that I dodged a lot of bullets growing up because a lot of my buddies ended up in 2020. A lot of my buddies ended up in jail, penitentiary. A lot of them some of them still there. And I mean, I got a few that made it out. It took 2-3 times to go to really understand that this is just not something that you can do you can't do for the rest of your life. And nobody can hold us down. Yo, I'm just gonna say this, and you can say whatever you want to say. I'm always Wyatt always talking that shit. He always 1335 John Street, baby. That's where I'm from. I never, not once in my life, thought that I can own anything until I became a grown-ass man. When I was 16, 17 years old, I understood the power of self-sufficiency. This is something that needs to be taught to our young brothers and sisters at a very, very early age. Everybody's not going to be the CEO of the largest corporation. But when you work towards something with your name, when you work for something that you build, you have a certain pride that comes along with it, a certain strength that comes along with it. And when you give somebody something to be proud of, they take care of it. They take care of it. So tomorrow, man, I want to shout out everybody that came out to the boxing show over the weekend. Steven Speed, Black Russia and his brother, Terrence Graxton. These guys, Angela Kinney, Denise, Mama Deb, Paul White. There was a lot. Who else? We got Tiffany Daniels. There was probably some people there. I don't even know if my man made it. Did Daryl Carpenter make it? Daryl, did you make it to the show, bro? Your tickets was at will call. He won them on the show. He won them right here on the air. I don't know if he made it. If he was there, he could have snuck me. He could have came up from behind and punched me in the back of my motherfucking head or something. He could have got me. I hope you made it, Daryl. I really hope you made it to the show over the weekend, man. One of the things I plan on doing is doing more shows. We're going to move in and do some bigger and better things here with the streaming service I've invested in. I have a good feeling about this one. Who would have ever knew that a young brother from 1335 John Street, Law Holmes, would own a professional franchise? Never thought. But I never let anybody tell me that I couldn't. Never let them tell you what you can't do. We all can do it. Yo, that's my time, and I appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you. Peace and love to everyone.
Can you dance? Let's find out. Woo. I want to see everybody on the dance floor right now. I'm about to put y'all to the test. Let's go. Do you know the dances? Do you know the hip-hop dances? Let's see. This one is the raw for sure, taking no chances. Bringing back the old school dances, here's the answers. Whether you remember or you're new to this endeavor, dance is a major part of this culture forever. What are we preserving if the children ain't learning? Culture ain't about just numbering and just wording. Sometimes you gotta show the culture at the party. Let's start with the Bismarck dance. Come on, everybody. Bismarck, the party about to get sparked. This is that moment you get live, get courage, get hard. I spit art, I'm one of a kind, they not me. I'm digitally underground like Shock G. Speaking of Shock G, when I jump, we jump. That's crisscross, but we talking about Humpty Hump. When you up, what? This is your chance. Come on, everybody, do the Humpty dance. Let's go. Right about now, we're gonna take it to the WAP. Remember the WAP? Feet slide, shoulder drop. We did it in the cups, we even did it on the block. Ready, set, go. Stand on your spot. Take it to the top. Come on, y'all, let's do the WAP.
Remember that WAP? I'm out.
Watch this. Whopping non-stop and hip-hopping, we dropping. We ain't even get yet to popping or locking. It's shocking how many dance moves we came with. Obviously, we and the ancestors got the same gift, the same lift, the same riff, and the same split. Like Bob Marley said, when the music hits, it's painless. You can't tame this or hate this. You gotta love me. Come on, y'all. Let me see you do the Dougie. Woo! That's right. That's right. This is that part where we go freestyle. Some of y'all doing the Cabbage Patch. Some of y'all doing the Running Man. Let me see what you got. Come on. Freestyle. Freestyle. Come on, y'all. Yeah. Where my B-boys at? Where my B-girls at? Okay, we out. Can you dance? Let's find out. I want to see everybody on the dance floor right now. I'm about to put y'all to the test. Let's go.